Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 65 of the Everything Motor Racing podcast. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you enjoyed our last two episodes. We've obviously had two back-to-back guests. We kind of go through a thing where we don't have guests for ages and then we have two at once. So hope you've enjoyed that, even if we did have some major issues with the audio on the last one, but we won't talk about that. Thank you, Cameron, again, who's not here, for fixing that.
Yeah, literally, honestly, like, we need to give Cameron a massive shout out for piecing that together.
Yeah,
it was like a jigsaw.
Yeah, I think I sent him like 15 files.
Yeah, I sent him 4 on my own.
Yeah, and I sent him, God knows how many. But yeah, episode 65, Jacob. Which riders run 65?
Well, there's just so many in there. But the main ones I was thinking was obviously Johnny Ray.
Yep.
Loris Capirossi.
Yeah, good shout.
In Moto 2.
Yep.
Loris Baz when he was in British Superbikes on the YAM.
That's impressive. I didn't think of that.
But then, that's about it. I'm out.
Oof. So, I've got... No, I won't say mine. I'll ask our guests. Kind of a guest. We're doing a collaborative podcast. So, I appeared on their podcast last week. So, they're appearing on my podcast this week. I've got Lauryn and Annick from the Sighting Lab. Welcome.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Yeah, very welcome. You're very welcome. So... I'll put the question to you two. Riders of number 65 that Jacob hasn't mentioned.
I'm going to have to call it quits already. He has taken all the ones that I know. To be fair, Johnny Ray was as far as I got, and then I started panicking. So, no, I'm definitely out of it.
I put all my trust in Lauren saving me here, but apparently she didn't.
Sorry, guys. Let the team down.
Yeah.
It's all right. So there are a few more. We've got Josh Owens in BSB.
Oh, sorry, Josh.
You got Michael Canducci, who's an Italian rider. He's not really well known. Troy Guenther as well, who I can't remember who he raced. I think he races in a Superbike. But yeah, that's about as many as I can think of. I guarantee you there's probably somebody at home listening shouting at us for missing the 65. But yeah, sorry about that. We're not very good at this.
Yeah, there'll be someone from like 1973 on a 250, won't it?
Yeah, I just had to think, like, the guarantee you there is some major rider that, like, didn't Norikabe run it? I have a feeling Norikabe ran. No, that's 56 he ran.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. He ran 56 very briefly. Anyway, we are back, as you can tell, with a mid-season review, where we basically are going to talk about everything that's gone on in MotoGP this year so far. Shock horror, that's kind of what a mid-season review is, no? But, so as you may know, from earlier this year, we did a 2022 predictions list, where we basically listed our predictions for the year and which riders have done X. And we're going to run through that list. We won't list the riders or name the riders that we have predicted because we kind of want to keep that to the end of the season. If you want to find that out, you can go back and listen. I can't remember what episode number it is.
Just about to say, it's like, just go back. It's not hard.
I don't know. Just scroll down. I don't know. But we're going to go through this list and just basically discuss what riders have kind of done basically better than we have expected, or if said riders are doing as well as we have expected, and so on and so forth. So, firstly, we're going to start off with the Moto, basically the rookies of the year. So, obviously, we'll start with Moto 3 and kind of move our way up because, it's kind of, we always do it that way. I don't know why. I guess it builds tension or hype. But
it's because it's the way the race is going.
Pretty much. So, obviously, with the Moto 3 this year, it was kind of a bit of a tricky one because me, Jacob, would have 100% put David Munoz to be Rookie of the Year this year. I'm almost certain of it, just from his exceptional performances last year. What would you, before the season started, quickly, Annick and Lauren, who would you have said would be your Rookie of the Year?
This is such a hard one, and I've actually thought about it quite a lot. And I don't know if this is just like a get out of jail free card, but to be honest, I didn't have that many high expectations for too many riders coming into this season because I haven't really been following a lot of the lower classes. So to be honest, I don't put pressure on any rider, but I always support the British riders. So maybe I'll just say that both of the fish and track riders, I was really hoping to do well.
Okay, yeah, fair play. And Annick, have you got the same or?
At the beginning of the season, I also didn't really follow the Red Bull Rookies Cup or anything, but because of the bike and like the few snippets that I've seen, I thought it might be Danny Holgado.
Okay, well,
I mean,
good choice.
I
solid
didn't
choice.
I didn't expect him to pull Pedro Acosta and win the entire championship, but I thought he might be doing well, especially in such a good team and everything.
Yeah, especially because given that you replaced Pedro Acosta, it's kind of natural progression, isn't it? Well, looking at it, it is indeed Daniel Holgado who is actually the top rookie at the moment. And I believe I've got the entire season's thing here. No, he hasn't had a podium yet, but he has definitely fought this year within those kind of positions, and he's qualified in the front row a few times, I believe, off the top of my head. And he's genuinely been a pretty good rider this year. He's obviously not done a Pedro Costa, but it's kind of, I think he was like one in a blue moon.
Yeah, nobody
kind of rider.
Pedro,
Yeah, Pedro Acosta is Pedro Acosta. We talk about that so much on our podcast, and it's like, stop making the comparisons to everyone versus Pedro Acosta, because he is just this special talent that I really don't see anyone repeating, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one of one, isn't it? It's kind of once in a blue moon talent. It's like when, your Marquez's, your Rossi. I'm not saying that they are Pedro Acosta's of that level, but it's the rider that comes through and does these things, and you're like, oh, okay, there's something about you, kind of thing. But yeah, like Daniel Holgado has been spectacular this year so far, but I don't know. There's been a few surprises in there, like Diego Moreira.
I nearly went Diego. Very nearly.
Like, yeah, I did not expect him to be this good. Like, because he was all right. He got a few podiums at the rookies last year. He got a few, some strong results, and the same in the Chev last year. He was a pretty good rider, but he was just good at crashing quite a lot as well. But this year, he's led races. He's diced it with the front. He can't seem to kind of, like, his late race pace isn't there yet.
Yeah,
but again,
yeah.
He's also riding for a brand new team to the World Championship. And yeah, he's been a superb.
But also, we should point out, really prefers the KTM to Honda.
Yeah, because he rode the Honda in the Australia Galicia Mondial for years, and then hops on the K. But that's a lot of riders. A lot of riders this year, they're struggling the Honda. Going back to Jerez, and it was an absolute shit show. Obviously Ogden was the fastest Honda at one point. Foggia was riding around getting quite annoyed. Then you look at the championship standings, and there are a few Hondas in there. You got Foggia third, Suzuki and Minya are also in the mix, but it's just vastly dominated by KTMs or KTM badged bikes. The Gas 1-2, and then you got Sasaki in fourth. And then you got Masia, then Onshu, and Tatai and Arti Gas in 9th and 10th. It's just KTM Cup, really.
Yeah, it shows how much they put into the lower class, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I did, because me and Jacob, I wasn't going to go into our predictions, but we'll do it anyway.
Also,
so me and Jacob went for Joel Kelso.
Which I think would be fair had he not been smashed into several times. I've always said, like, half the time if you get hit, it's kind of on you because you're clearly putting yourself in the wrong position.
If it's John McPhee for you.
But Joel genuinely has been involved in 2 freak accidents in the space of about 5 races,
and he broke his leg as well, didn't he?
It broke his leg at Assen last time out. Before that, of course, in where was it? Where did he get hit by the runaway bike?
Yeah, he got absolutely sideswiped by that bike.
Poleaxed in the free practice, wasn't it, in the warm up. Like that alone shouldn't happen during the season, let alone then getting hit by another rider to break your leg like a couple of races later. He's had such bad luck. It's just he would be the rookie of the year, I think, otherwise.
I think, though, to be fair, when he hasn't had bad luck, he has been really good, and he showed like a lot this season. So I think if his luck changes, he definitely has the potential to be running up there at the front for sure. But yeah, we'll just have to see how his luck goes in the second half of the season, because sometimes you just can't escape it, and he could have an entire rough season. But I would like to see his luck changing for sure.
Yeah, because he's a cool guy, is Joel. He deserves the luck.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I worry about the team as well a little bit. CIP
Yeah.
team, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to like slate a team, but yeah, they're not an A team, are they?
No, they're not. But in terms of disappointing rookies, let's go down that route. Have any riders disappointed you as a rookie yet? For you, I'll go with Annick first.
Oh,
Put you on the spot here.
that's so mean.
She
I
hates when we put her on the
I
spot.
feel so mean saying bad things, but I might have expected a bit more from Mario Aggi. I know he's quite tall for the class, but I was still expecting a bit more in general from him.
Yeah, because he got that front row in Indonesia on home soil, but
Yeah, he
But it
had a
was
really
wet.
strong start.
yeah, he did. But
And at
dunno.
the same
What
time,
about you?
there were a lot of races where the weather conditions were changing throughout practice, qualifying, and the race itself. So there could have been a chance of doing better, but he just didn't.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
ran
Yeah.
backwards in Indonesia, didn't he? Unfortunately.
I think the weather's actually played quite a massive part in the start of this season so far. Like, I don't ever remember the first half of the season or entirety of a season having this much like chance of rain, monsoons. Like, yeah, it's been a bit crazy, and it's rained at a lot of rounds that you wouldn't maybe expect it to rain, for the time of year. And I think the conditions have been quite challenging this year, so that could play a massive part in the fact that maybe a lot of these rookies haven't been to circuits before, and throwing in these crazy weather conditions that they're not used to. I think that plays a massive part for a lot of rookies, not just in Moto 3, in all three classes as well. But
I agree.
if I have to say who has slightly disappointed me, I'm going to say Holgado. Just,
Holgado.
yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Lauren.
But just
okay.
because he hasn't been on the podium, I think he
Yeah.
really has the potential, and I'm really surprised that he hasn't been on the podium yet. I think he will be in the second half of the season, but I don't know. I think just after the first few rounds, I was really like, yeah, he's got a good chance, and he's on a really good bike, obviously. And I think I did let the expectations sort of get to me of like, oh, he's on Pedro Acosta's bike, and as much as I don't like making those comparisons, he showed a lot of potential, and to not be on the podium yet, I'm a wee bit disappointed in him, but I do think it is
I just
coming.
want to say that you always go in when I'm saying
Yeah, I
something
know.
negative about Danny Holgado, and now you're the
I
one.
know I changed my tune. I really like Holgado, but if I had to pick one out of this list, honestly, it would be Holgado, and it would just be because he hasn't got a podium yet. I don't know. That's so nitpicky of me, but yeah.
That's bold. That is bold.
Yeah. I think it's because his sister's like disappeared a little bit. That's why he's like
Don't
not there.
start.
Don't bring it up. There's no need. There's no
Don't
need.
start now,
So
fam.
whoever's doing the everything motor racing bingo, take a shot for that one.
Yeah, the thing is about Olgado, I think he probably would have been on the podium, but he not started broken. I think
Yeah,
that's
he
the
both
true,
led, didn't he? I
true.
forgot about that.
Yeah, which
So
is
I
why
think
I
if-
defended him so much at the start of the season. So I'm like, that's exactly why. It was because it was like, well, he has a broken leg coming into the season. I feel like
Yeah.
it's justified, but sort of towards the mid-season, I think he, back at full fitness, he should have been up there a wee bit more.
He did have some bad luck where McPhee took him out, I think, during one
Yeah.
race. His erratic coda behavior,
Yeah,
where
when
he
knocked
crashed.
off like everyone and crashed twice.
I think I mentioned it every time where we're talking about him, but I just thought it's.
Yeah.
I
True.
don't know,
He's a
like,
funny one.
yeah, crashing 3 times and not destroying the bike completely was an achievement in itself, so.
I should give him a round of applause for that one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Right, whilst we're on Moto 3, we may as well just continue with the next one. We'll go with we'll do Moto 3 for the first bit, and then we'll move to Moto 2, and then because it seems easier to do that.
Sure.
So the biggest surprise in Moto 3 this year.
Oh, can I just say, looking at this right now, I think I might have taken this one.
I'm not sure why, to be honest.
Well,
You can explain in a minute because I'm not sure. But for me, biggest surprise, don't know. Like, because for me, right, Izan Guevara, I expected it.
Yep.
Garcia and Foggia, I expected it. maybe Sasaki.
That's what I was just about to
That
say. I
was
was
mine
waiting
as
to see
well.
what everyone else
Yeah.
would say. Sasaki,
Sasaki
100%.
as well. I was
Yeah.
expecting Sasaki as well, so I can't say I was surprised by him.
No, because I don't think I was expecting him at all. I feel like
No.
he's been there or thereabouts, but this season was really his season to step up. I mean, he was third in Argentina and in Portugal, and it was just a matter of time until he got the top step,
win.
to be honest, because I don't know, it seemed to go down to the last lap battles and he was really trying for it and then was just throwing away the wins. Like, yeah, he was still on the podium, but then you've got the likes of Garcia and Guevara overtaking him on like the last corners and stuff like that, and they just seemed more confident because obviously they have more race wins, but to get that win in Assen, like, it was a long time coming. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have won the
Oh,
opening round, though, shouldn't he? That's the thing.
oh
as
yeah,
well.
100%. But I mean, bad luck, and what could he do in that
Definitely.
situation? I think that really knocked his confidence for a few rounds, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
Because I've written down Munoz at the start of the
Oh,
season.
come on.
But-
You and me expected that.
but-
Come on.
But right now, sitting here, my biggest surprise is Tatsuki Suzuki, because I thought he would be sacked by now, not podium man. I didn't think he would do it at Leopard.
I thought he'd do better than this, to be honest.
I didn't.
Oh,
I'm
to be-
disappointed by
yeah.
him.
Actually, now thinking about it, maybe he's my biggest disappointment because being on that Leopard machine, one of the best bikes on the grid, I really don't think he's stepped up to the mark this
It's
season.
not the best on the grid for him, though, because he's having to run Foggia's settings,
True, very true.
which is the problem. So that's why I'm thinking they still managed to get a podium and carry the Leopard flag with Foggia's falling down.
Yeah.
That, for me, makes him the biggest surprise because I didn't expect him to pull it off.
Fair.
He did
Fair
improve,
point.
like, throughout the races, he did improve. His-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
he's
the
had
start of
2
the-
podiums
yeah.
now, and he,
Like,
but
especially coming from 658, which was like, his inner circle kind of thing. It's a
yeah,
big change.
yeah, it is a massive change. But yeah, I don't know. For me, we'll stay on the biggest surprise for a minute. Yeah, biggest surprise is that because like a lot of people are like, wow, Munoz, like wow, he's done amazing, and he has, right? He's done unbelievable. The fact that he's on a
Yeah.
podium in his
Yeah.
second ever Grand Prix, and he's 16 years old, but. I wrote an article prior to the season saying he's a future world champion. So I'm
It's
like,
the bingo.
yeah, that's the bingo again, yeah. So I'm like, I kind of expected it.
Didn't
I also
expect it in
expected
the second race, though. That's the thing.
I kind of
Yeah.
it's Catalonia.
Yeah, I didn't expect it so early. I was expecting podiums by the end of the season, but not this early. I thought, he'd jump in, especially being on the BOE bike.
On
That
the
as
BOE,
well.
yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
he'd take time to find his feet because the BOE will not be the bike you need. And I thought, give him a bit of time. He's got time. He's 16. But
he's got all the time in the
Yeah.
world.
yeah,
Yeah.
to do it in the second race, mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing.
It's crazy. But is that Jacob? Oh, it's that dog, isn't it? It's got the dogs getting mad. I'll have to try and edit that out in. Hold on, I'll try and edit that out for the viewers because I know it is annoying. Right. Why? Oh well. But, oh, he's still muted. That's fine. So going to. Oh, have you two got any thoughts on the biggest surprise?
Oh, I have another one. My
Okay.
first one is Sasaki.
Oh, yeah,
But
definitely.
the second person that I was thinking of is Carlos Tatai. He did better than I expected. He got a pole, he got a podium, which
Yeah.
I think I was really surprised that he did so well compared to Xavi Artiga. Like, being in the same team, I was thinking Artiga would be way better.
Yeah, because Artigas has got the history. He's,
Yeah.
he's like all the way through up his career, he's been phenomenal. And then he's kind of hit the World Championship and he's just gone, "Mwah." Like, yeah, he got that win, obviously, but and he switched to a KTM and you're like, okay, he was in Leopard, fair enough, but he may have preferred a KTM. He got the KTM and it's like, he's just wildly inconsistent still. He's coming though. Like he was 5th in Aston and he was up there most of the race. He was back in the front group. But Tatai did well, but again, for me, I'm like 3rd year in the Grand Prix Championship now. He spent a few years with Avinti. He's a Red Bull Rookies champion in 2009. was the CV runner-up in 2019 as well, sorry. And I'm like, I don't know, I expected more. Because he ran away with it in the rookies against Pedro Costa. And then Pedro Costa's come in and gone, bye. But I don't know.
It's a weird one.
That's me being controversial, I guess.
No, I'm sort of with you on Tata because I wasn't expecting him to come out of the blocks like he did. Especially losing the Red Bull sponsorship. Must have been a kick in the teeth for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Right. Moto 3, biggest improver. So, funnily enough, I put, and my predictions pre-season, Jaime Macia, who is now 5th in the championship. So, he's done all right, but I think there's bigger improvers, to be honest. We could even go as far as saying, like you look down the order, you got Riccardo Rossi, who went from being maybe scores points every so often to being a pretty consistent points finisher now.
Lorenzo Pellon for me.
Yeah, Lorenzo Pellon, who's taken podiums, points, quite consistently now. He's a good rider, as we know, but last year he didn't score a single point. Now he's scored points in 4 different races. But for me, his 2 race ban last year kind of did him some good. Obviously, talking about Dennis Onchu, he's one of the only riders to finish every race this year. He hasn't stood on the podium yet, but he's finished every race this year.
I think Onchu would be my biggest improver. I think just because of how he handles himself. Like this season, he seems to be so much more composed and grown up in how he handles situations and stuff like that. Now, we still see a lot of very controversial moves from him, of course. I think he'll always be like that, and that's what makes him so special, I think, because he just doesn't care what people think about him. But like his consistency this season has been incredible, and he's scored points in every race.
Yep.
Every season crashed.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really big improvement from last season. Yeah, it's not a podium yet or a race win yet, but I definitely think it's coming for him. And if he keeps on this upwards trajectory, then definitely.
Because the thing is, you wouldn't expect there's someone coming from Keenan Soccer who's riding school. So to do that, impressive.
Yeah, we have to look at his twin brothers' race 1 antics in their World Supersport.
Have you seen speaking of Kachan on Chewy? He's Keenan's banned him from social media.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? It's a bit of a strange one.
Because apparently he did it with Bahrain last year at the end, and his results just shot up. So he's tried with Chan now.
Yeah.
So anybody thinking of into messaging Chan now, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the season.
Yeah. What about you, Annick? Biggest improver?
I would say Izan Guevara because of what you mentioned also for Dennis Onchu, like the mental improvement. We've seen him like having a mechanical failure again, going out of the lead, ending it in a DNF.
Tantrum.
I mean, we love talking about the Kota temper tantrum.
Yeah.
So, but generally, I think he's a very mature rider for his age, especially, and he also learned to deal better with the pressure. I mean,
yes,
definitely.
Yeah. How are you, Lauren? Have you got any opinions?
Yeah, Onchu.
Controversial?
Oh,
Onchu as well.
Yeah, no, that's controversial in itself, picking Onchu. But yeah, no, I think he's good. I would agree with the Guevara as well. They've definitely, both of them, grown up a lot this season for sure, and it shows in the results.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go and be controversial, because as we know, everyone listening to this podcast knows we like to be a bit controversial at times. Biggest disappointment. So I put in my pre-season prediction John McPhee, but you can't really put anything with John McPhee because he's been injured most of the year. So, but for me, I haven't really got one at the top of my head.
Can I just point out who I put?
Yeah, go for it.
Jaime Macia. And I stick by that one.
No.
You stick by it?
No.
He should be fighting for the title. In the bike he's got, the experience he's got, he should be fighting for the title. And he's nowhere near, he's 5th. He's behind Foggia, who's also should be fighting for the title.
Well, yeah, I do agree he should be up there fighting for the title, but I think in general his results have been not horrific. I mean, he's taken 2 race wins.
Oh yeah, not
Been on the
poor.
podium. Like, I think he's been really good. I wouldn't call it a disappointment in my mind. I do understand where you're coming from, but I definitely wouldn't say the biggest
Yeah, like,
disappointment.
I'm not saying he's been bad,
Yeah,
but where he should be compared to where he is a disappointment in my eyes. Because if you're on that IO bike, you should be fighting for a title, unless you're a rookie.
yeah. I was gonna say where's Helga?
Yeah, like I'll get a rookie some slack. But if you've had multiple years on that IO bike, you need to be fighting for the title. It's that simple. But there's nothing less.
I can
So,
throw a
for me,
controversial one in there then if you're gonna go for
Yeah.
Masia. Foggia.
Yeah,
You should be-
Oh, I
should
knew
be-
you were
you
going to
should
say
be-
that, and I'm not agreeing with you, and
No,
you know why.
No,
You
I
know
agree
why.
with you.
No, I'm not.
He should be leading the championship. In reality, he should be leading the championship. There's no two
You-
ways
How would
about
you
it.
get the
didn't
bottle
even
for it?
want to
He hasn't got
believe.
the bottle.
You didn't even want to believe that he slipped on the tear off. You didn't even
No,
want to give him
it
that.
just,
Oh
no,
my
he
God.
threw away the
It
race.
does
This
sound
is
like
such
an
a
excuse.
conspiracy theory.
Yeah. No, come on. He threw away the race
No,
in Mugello.
no,
Like, he then
no.
crashed the week after. He crashed in Assen. Like, the man's
His head
head
went.
is gone, completely gone. It was gone at
I-
the end of the season last year with the whole Darren Binder incident with Pedro Acosta then winning the championship. Like, I thought he was going to come into this season guns blazing, and initially he did, but honestly, he should be leading the championship, and he's definitely my biggest disappointment.
I
Yeah,
think
I would back it.
what I would
Sorry, go on.
agree on would be his Spanish GP performance. That was horrible. That was
Mhm.
terrible. But other than that, some of his DNFs were unnecessary, but at the same time, there are a lot of good riders who crash every once in a while. And other than that, he's been doing good.
No.
No. We will never agree on this one. We will never.
Unfortunately, I gotta agree though, because if someone who's runner up last season fighting for the title until the final
Yeah.
round, you'd expect if he stayed down, you'd expect him to be fighting for the title.
He has a point to prove, and I mean, he's fighting
Especially
against
losing it in the manner he did to a rookie,
Yeah.
no less.
To a
exactly.
rookie, yeah.
And I mean,
instead his head's
he-
gone.
It was completely out of his control, though, in fairness, why he lost the championship. But I still don't think he was going to win the championship had that crash not have happened. So I don't know, his mentality just is not good this season. And when you compare him to the 2 people ahead of him, like, they're miles ahead of him, and they really are just head and shoulders above. They've showed great.
I
Like,
still
not
believe
potential,
that at
they've
the
just
end
been
of the
great.
season. No, I still believe that at the end of the season he could still be in title contention or come back into title contention. Looking at his late charge last year.
Yeah, but that's the
Yeah.
whole, his dad got kicked out of the box and everything. Like, there was a whole hoo-ha last season that I think has a massive part to play in it. And I mean, he was set to leave Leopard at one point last season, and now all of a sudden he's signed
That
again.
was-
And I think there's so
No,
much
but-
more that
Yeah.
goes
But
on.
all of this,
that we don't even
stuff
know.
with his dad happened during the Austrian rounds, and after that there were a lot of races where he did very well
Because
in.
his dad was kicked out of the box. He wasn't allowed in.
Yeah, but that was in
There's
Austria,
no
and there were
outside
still 10
influence.
races to go or something like that. Lauren, no, I will
Oh,
never
I've
agree.
got
No.
Lydia.
These
Yeah,
are
I
the bits
agree
that
with
get
Lynn.
cut out of our
I
podcast when
will.
Alec and I start arguing.
So
I will
should I
always.
assume that Annick is a Foggia fan then?
Yeah, just maybe.
Well-
yeah.
I mean, you can assume that I'm a Leopard Racing fan because
Yeah,
it's the
you
only
are.
team that we have as Luxembourgish people that do somewhat
Ah.
well in any sports category. Oh, and we
Yeah.
have cycling
Yeah.
people, but that's it.
Understandable.
Mm.
So,
Still.
right. So, me, I'm going to be again, I'm not really controversial on this one, but I've got 2. The first one is Andrea Mignon.
Yeah, he's my next one
Mhm.
after Foggia. It has to be Mignon.
Yeah, like, I was like, oh, he's won at Qatar.
Yeah.
Great. This is finally, and then he crashed out the next 2. Yeah, he got taken out. Kind of got taken out. He kind of knocked Masia off, should I say, in Argentina. And then he got a podium in Kota, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just a little blip. And he's not been on the podium since, and it's just meh. I'm like, bro, you're like 26 now. You're still in Moto 3. What are you doing?
Game over, innit?
It has to
Classic
be.
Yeah.
Migno, just classic Migno. And I love Mick, but he's done. Like he had his opportunity like
He's
2016.
had so many opportunities. He's been with the Sky VR46 squad. He's been with the Aspar team. He's been with so many good teams. He's been in the Sniper squad who, battle for the championship with Tony Arbolino. And it's, it's like he's not been with bad teams. He's not been with B-tier teams. He's been with top teams and he's just never been able to pull it out of the bag.
Like Nico Antonelli, though, and he's, I think he's been afforded so much time because of his associations. And I think that's game over now.
The VR46 Academy does buy you extra time.
Yes, 100%.
Maybe not too much, but it's enough, with obviously being able to pay for a seat, blah, 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 blah. And Minyo's just...
Yeah, sick now. Like, I have been disappointed in Mig, but I didn't expect that much of him because he's always been the same, so can't really be... Like McPhee, you can't really be disappointed by someone you've got no expectation for. So, yeah.
I've got another one.
I also have someone, which I mentioned already. Xavi Artiga.
Okay.
I was expecting so much more of him, and it's mainly because of one comment that he made, and I've mentioned it a couple of times in our podcast before. He once said in an interview that he's not doing well on circuits with chicanes in it. And I think you can say, you can't be good at Kota, which is understandable because of the track surface. You can say that you're not as good on left-handers, but I don't think that if you're riding on a world championship level, you can't say that you're not good at circuits with chicanes.
Yeah, that's every circuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the point of being a motorbike race if you can't ride chicanes?
You can also say, I'm not good at riding on two wheels, I prefer four wheels, but then that doesn't work if you're riding in Moto 3.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, he's a Moto 3, they're nippy, they're nimble, you just take over. But what can I say? I'm a safer racer apparently. My major disappointment this year, which I think is clear off the board with everybody at this point, Anna Carrasco.
Not touching that one.
We talked about this last week. Though, if you listen to our podcast episode on the Setting Lab, you will hear a discussion about this, and I think we did come to somewhat of an agreement. I just don't think it's the class for her. I didn't think it was the move for her, but it is nice to see her there. But if we are talking about results and results only, they haven't been good. But I don't think it's where she should be right now in her career.
100%.
Yeah, like we said, she should be in another class like Super Sport 600 or something like that. So yeah, go and listen to... Is your episode with me out yet, or is it...
It'll be out... When's this going out? Ours is going out on
tomorrow.
Tuesday. So ours won't even be out yet, so there you go.
Okay. Well, mine be out tomorrow, but we haven't got cameras, so I'm editing the audio, so it might be Tuesday as well. So
there you go. Well,
you've got
this
this
one,
and then you've got the Sight and Lap to listen to this week if you are listening. So you can hear my opinions on that as well there. But for me, I don't know, Anna Carrasco, I was like... Because before she came in, she did 48 Grand Prix, scored points in 2, didn't score points in 46 of them, and I was like, she's gone away now. She's won a world championship. She's come back, and she's raced against some top tier riders, some good riders in the Supersport 300s. She's had the Provex support kind of thing. I was like, okay, maybe it's time she can come back now and go, Anna Carrasco V2. Let's go and actually really show what I can do. And she's like a minute off every race. Her teammates come in and her teammate. So they had obviously Gabrielle Ryu.
Yeah,
is it Gabrielle? No,
yeah,
that's it.
I think it's Gerard.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know about pronoun.
Yeah. Well, shit. They had Ryu anyway. Gerard, that's it. Gerard, yeah. They had Ryu anyway. Not Gabrielle Ryu. He's the superbike rider.
Yeah.
That's what I got confused. So you had Gerard Ryu. And he, again, was at the back of the grid with her. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just the bike. The bike, the Bow team have never historically scored consistent points. It's always been a bit of a shitter. It's like the worst team on the grid. I don't even care about saying that on the podcast, whatever. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, she's on a shit bike. And then Munoz comes in, who gets a podium in second race, and Anna Carrasco's over a minute off. And I'm like, it's not the bike, is it? I gave her a bit of slack, but then he did that, and I'm like, there's no slack to be given now.
The manner in which she came in as well ruffled people up.
With the money, yeah.
Yeah, money buys seats. That's a fact of Moto3.
That's racing. But like it doesn't matter who it is, like bloody Adrian Fernandez still gets shit for taking Alonso Lopez's seat in the Max Racing squad, and again Adrian Fernandez has done fuck all at the moment.
Whoa now.
He is not doing much. Come on, man. Come on. He's
not amazing, but not what he should be, admittedly. But I don't think he's doing poorly.
Well, he's had like 3 top 10s this year, and he's either crashed or finished. I don't know. But yeah, that's a story for another time. Anyway, but pay riders often get controversy, especially in motorsport, especially in the car kind of area of it. But the fact that David Salvador nearly scored a podium at Catalunya as well, and you're like,
wrong decision. Sorry,
she definitely gets extra shit though because she is a woman, and as much as you don't want to but I think that's why it's highlighted so much. Like, oh, she's paid for her seat, sort of thing. Like, there's loads of people who pay for their seats, but you don't really hear about it, or it's not brought to your attention as much, or it's maybe just brushed over in conversation. And I think it's just like, because
it happens,
because of who she is, that's I think brought so much more attention to it. And I think she had such high expectations put on her to coming back in, and then obviously she hasn't met them yet. Like, we don't know. There's still half a season to go. I'd like to see her improve.
I'd like to see her to score some points.
Yeah, and I think she has
for women's riders in general if she succeeded. So I definitely wouldn't be against it. But
she has the potential too.
But like male or female, if you come in last minute and kick a promising rider out of a seat just because of money, to do it the time if they announced it at the end of last season and said, "Oh, we did have Salvador, but now we're going to be replacing with Carrasco," but literally to do it like just 3 weeks before the preseason tests, something like that, wasn't it? It's just the timing of it. Salvador's had all winter to be thinking he's a world championship rider, and he's been told, "Oh, someone with money's come in and took your seat." Like, male or female, I hate that.
You had Bo going to the media going, "Oh, we never signed a contract with Salvador anyway." And it's like, he was on the entry list.
Yeah, you put him on the entry list. What is he, a placeholder?
Yeah. Like, what's going on?
Absolute dumbass, honestly.
But I don't know, just a bit disappointed with it, but I'd like to see her do well. I'm excited for obviously Mira Herrera coming in at Aragon as well.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. But like you've already said, it's the wrong class anyway.
Yeah,
she should be stepping up, not back to the class she was previously.
Definitely.
Yeah. Have you two got any more disappointments? You three, should I say?
Well, since you brought up Adrian Fernandez, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have to say, I'm not super disappointed in him. Like I said at the start, I didn't have massive expectations for anyone, but when you're in that Red Bull KTM team, no matter if it's the Tech 3 or the IO team, I think there's massive expectations on you, and I think he hasn't met them for me. And he scored 3 top 10s, and that's it out of 11 races. It's not enough for me. I don't think. I'm not expecting him to be standing on the podium every race, but to be inside the top 10 would definitely be an expectation I have for him going into the second half of the season for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely would agree. Have you got any more, Annick, before we move on?
I don't know if it's mean to say because he's still a rookie, but I was expecting a bit more from Joshua Watley. He's quite far behind the others.
He is.
There are big gaps in all sessions.
I've said, on our podcast, he wasn't ready. But he had to go in there because of the age limit. So it was kind of a shit situation for him, to be honest. But he's just not ready. He needs to do another year in the Chev, really. But obviously he can't do that he's got a good team around him. I think he'll get a second year in the squad because I think Scott will probably change teams to a more competitive team. But
the more organised outfit, shall we say?
Yeah, we know the stories outside of the thing. But he's done okay, but again, he's still way off. He's battling with Anna Carrasco, and as Jacob and I know, he said some stuff before the season, and he's not really living up to his comments that he made. Sorry, Josh, if you are listening.
I don't. Yeah, I think even if you just compare him to Scott, his teammate, Scott's had a pretty rough season with 6 crashes and retirements out of races, but he's still ahead of him. And when you look at that, Josh has finished more races than Scott, but hasn't been able to capitalise on that. So I think that's maybe a big thing that he needs to take into this second half of the season. You know, he needs to capitalise on these opportunities, even if he's just battling against his teammate for points and stuff like that. You know, you're nowhere in the championship, I think.
I do have one more as well.
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
Like, he's been in the class so long, he's won races, and it's like, bro.
We
Well,
had
you say
a,
it.
He got a podium at Qatar.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do. What do we call that? What is that we do?
What?
Why can I not remember what you call that? We all have like 2 riders each.
Oh, a fantasy league.
Like predictions.
Oh, a fantasy league. That's what it's called. My mind just went so blank there. Yeah, I don't know. And someone wanted to switch to him at the start of the season because we'd all had our riders picked out before the season started, and then he finished 3rd, obviously, in the first race. And someone was like, "I want to switch to Toba," and I was like, "No, don't do it. Don't do it." And
Don't do
I
it.
mean, I was so right in saying that because his performances haven't been up there since the first round.
He's been
No, he has been pretty poor. Right, we'll jump over some of the other things like most crashes and stuff like that because to be fired and all that. Salvador was fired before the season.
I still don't
started,
agree
so-
with that though, because he didn't appear in a race, so I think it was actually should be penalty.
We'll discuss that at the end of the season, but
Well, none of us got it right anyway. Either way, so it should still be penalty.
yeah, but going into the season, so obviously we've got Garcia currently leading the championship. Would you say that was a guarantee? Was that kind of like you'd expect him to be leading the championship now, or was there other riders that you'd be like, no, like Foggia, for example, that by now you'd think actually they should be leading?
Honestly, I thought it would be between Foggia and Garcia. I had a lot of hope for Guevara, and thankfully that's sort of paid off for me believing in him. He's done well.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be a lot closer between Foggia and Garcia. I thought it would be those two that were so close in points and not the other way around for sure.
Guevara,
but I do, Garcia being at the top isn't a surprise to me at all. I
No,
expected
me neither.
that 100%.
Yeah, like I looking at it now. I'm actually looking at the spreadsheet right now. I think I might have nailed Moto 3 with the champions because I got
Yeah.
Spa for the team champions and
Yeah.
Guevara for the world champion.
Yeah, you've done well. You've done well.
I think I might
Well,
actually
I
smash that.
put Dennis Foggia, as you can see.
Yeah, you
And
dumbass.
I'm like, bro, what you doing? Like, he is actually, he's 3rd in the championship, but he's 64 points behind Guevara.
Yeah, that's the thing. Third on paper looks incredible. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah.
no, if you're 3rd, you think, oh, you're still in title contention. That's over 2 races.
No, it's nearly 3,
Yeah.
really. And if you go to the championship leader, which is obviously Garcia, who's got an extra 3 in the bag, it's 67 points. Like, it's not much, but, you know, is Garcia and Guevara really going to crash out of 3 races in a row?
No.
If anything,
Into each
they could
other,
extend their
or-
lead and they become the coming
Yeah.
races.
Yeah, and like,
The
Foggia really
only
has to put in
thing
a shift.
on Foggia's side that perhaps Garcia and Guevara don't have is the fact that there's flyaways this year. Foggia has experienced them, whereas Garcia and Guevara have not.
I think as
True.
well,
It's a good point.
I don't see it happening. I see the two of them working together rather than turning on each other, but there is still a possibility as, you know, it gets closer towards the end of the season, and if it stays this close, the two of them could start getting quite feisty with each other. I don't see that happening at all, but that could be an opening for Foggia to get back into the championship if the two of them really start battling each other hard. But I do actually see them helping each other rather than battling each other.
I think they'll try and take each other out of touch a 3rd and then fight for the championship.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
the thing is, they're both battling for an Aspar Moto 2 seat as well. And it's kind of like 2 doesn't go into 1, you know, so there will be a little bit of a, and they're fighting for a title, you know, like, they might be all happy chummy now, but I guarantee you, give it, when we hit like, I don't know, we'll say Japan, and there's still 4 points in it, I think we'll see some fireworks.
Yeah, the
And
thing is,
because as we know, Guevara's, he's a bit tamer this year. If there's a title on the line,
But the thing about Garcia is he's a good boy as well. I don't think he'll get
he's
involved
just-
in the shenanigans.
nah, you just play hell whatever.
Yeah, he'll just go all the pen his goats, like, he'd be fine.
We'll get sunburn on the beach as it's
Yeah.
called.
You know,
Yeah,
he'd be
he's
fine,
just-
he won't fight. Guevara will just be
but-
shouted at him, but he'll just be like, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting to see that. I don't know, but the thing is, Fodger's got one trick up his sleeve, one secret weapon. His bodyguard Suzuki, who never overtakes him ever, and just sits behind him the whole
but that
time.
doesn't mean anything if it's for third. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If Suzuki has a good second half of the season and the two of them are consistently up there with the two gas boys, it could cause problems. I don't say it happening, but it could cause problems. But then you've got Masia, Onchu. Like, there could be some fireworks between any of the top 6-7 riders, I think, of crashes and all sorts. I think it could be quite spicy. I don't see anyone else winning the championship, though, other than the two gas
I can see
boys.
maybe one coming together, one takeout to take it down to about 40 odd points. But like the three needed?
No, definitely not.
We have seen stranger things happen, though, like when 2015, when Danny Kent threw away an 80-point lead.
Yes.
So
that is true.
Can happen.
That is true.
Anything can happen.
That's a blast from the past.
That was, I think that was more down to Miguel's brilliance in the second half of the season, which I can't see Fodger pulling off. That's the thing.
Yeah. But, and then, I guess that's everything. We can move to Moto 2, unless anybody's got any more Moto 3 and things you want to talk about.
I think that's everything.
Sick. Right. Roll back to the top of the list. So, I can't believe Jacob put Nicola Antonelli for the Moto 2 Rookie of the Year.
Honestly, everything I've just said has now been invalidated by the fact I picked Nicola Antonelli for the Rookie of the Year for Moto 2.
Oh.
I might as well just pack up and go.
Yeah, I mean, out of us three, because obviously everybody's got access to this document that we're looking at. Cameron was the only sensible one with Pedro Acosta, and you and me kind of went left field. I've got to be fair, the second best rookie in the championship is Manuel Gonzalez, which I put my boy Manu. Shout out to Manu. But
my feelings were that they ride the R6s constantly in the academy. I thought a bigger bike would suit his riding style, especially with the stiffness of chassis he likes, etc.
And it's a good team. The VR46 team is not a bad team.
It is an A team, and
that is the championship.
I thought, okay, I wasn't expecting podiums. I was expecting, consistent top 10s from him. But my God, what? There's nothing else to say, is there? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
he's 33rd in the championship. He's dead last out of the full-time riders at the moment.
I don't know what's happened to him, because that is not where Nicola Antonelli should be a rider of his talent.
Even Mattia Passini has more points than him.
Yeah. Passini did one race.
Yeah, it's tough.
2018 Kalex.
33rd in a 30-man championship is always quite rough.
Yeah, Mazepin vibes there, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit.
On the face of it, it didn't appear to be a bad shout, did it? You know what I mean? Like, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But then, on tarmac, useless.
No, I would have agreed with you at the start of the season. 100%. I really thought this move for him would have been a good one, because he's been in.
Finally, he's got something,
I was like, this is finally it. He's moving up. I honestly would have picked Minu over Antonelli to move up.
Yes. See, now that's what I was thinking. Where would Mick be compared to Nicola right now?
Yeah, see, this is the thing. And I don't know if it was just because I was a bigger fan of Minu, or I am a bigger fan of Minu, but I expected him to get the seat rather than Antonelli. I'd like to know the reasoning behind it. I'd like to see the two of them on the same bike to see who actually would be better, but it really hasn't been a good season for him at all. Maybe points in the second half if he's lucky, but
he's not getting points based on this.
One can dream. You can.
It's literally the only way he's going to get points is if we have another Portimao, but it's not stopped. It's that simple.
I don't know.
And maybe he'll get 15th if he's lucky. But then he'd probably stack it as well. You know what I mean?
But there's been practice sessions where he's been in the top 10.
He's had some good practice sessions.
Been up there, because I've been looking at the results and I'm going,
that's the worst part. He clearly can't race.
Yeah.
It's baffling, absolutely baffling, because this is not where he should be.
No, definitely.
Baffling.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like with the Rookie of the Year, I just want to roll back before because he's that's turned into a bit of a disappointment. But which we can talk about again in a minute, by the way. I'm not saying that we don't have to, but Pedro Acosta is currently the Rookie of the Year. Surprising?
No, I would have always called Pedro Acosta the Rookie of the Year. No matter what championship he's in. After last season, Like, you could move him up to MotoGP and I'd still go, he'd be rookie of the season. Like, yeah, I think he's great, and it's no surprise that he's up there. No surprise to me.
Like, I didn't want to pick Pedro because I didn't want to be,
Follow the
Pedro.
crowd.
It's the obvious choice. It is the obvious choice.
I thought, if anybody's going to compete with Acosta, it'll be Antonelli kind of thing.
It's a bad take, though.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I didn't work out today.
That's an L. Jeez.
Yeah.
But there's a shame he broke his leg. Like, because he had,
Yeah.
because what he did first, he won Catalonia, and then he was, sixth. No, he won Mugello, was good in Catalonia, and then got a podium again in Germany.
Yeah.
He's on a bit of a roll, and then you're like, okay. I even started saying, he might win the championship still.
Oh no, I didn't have championship hopes for him, but I did have. I thought he could move up quite a lot in the championship and maybe battle for the championship, but didn't have him for the win. But yeah, he was definitely on a roll.
Yeah, I mean, he's just looked really good, and yeah, it's Pedro Costa, isn't it? Like star champ, star of the future.
Do you know what, though? I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think you might actually take this. I think Manu has been improving so much.
The fact that he came from he did a non-conventional route into Moto 2. He won the European Talent Cup. He moved to Super Sport 300, which at the time, right, Super Sport 300 in the last 2 years has stepped up a level. The Super Sport 300 Championship now is incredibly competitive and is a very high level. But when Manuel Gonzalez won it, around the time that Marc Garcia won it, Ana Carrasco won it, the level was very low. Yeah. And it's not me being controversial saying the level wasn't there. It was a lot of riders who they couldn't
cut Chev, basically.
Yeah, they couldn't make it in the Chev. Like Garcia won the Super Sport 300, went to the Chev and was nowhere. He's like, this level is lower than the European Moto 3 Championship, but now it's at a high level. Garcia won it when it wasn't a very good level. Stepped into the Super Sport class, Super Sport 600 that is, and did okay on the Kawasaki, went to the Yamaha, outstanding, and then rode the MV, hated it because he didn't like the Dunlop tyres, really didn't like them, didn't get to grips with them, basically said that you can't, the working envelope is like tiny, whereas the Pirellis, you've got a lot to play with. And he's then stepped into the KLX, however you want to pronounce it, and he's just kind of come on leaps and bounds, like he scored 20th, 18th, and then he got points. He got a flipping 5th place in Portimao. Obviously, everyone did crash out, but now he's a pretty solid point scorer now. He's getting
assistant top 10 flip rider now. And he's only continuing to improve, so there's a good chance that he could end up Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and he's VR46 backed. He's got a Yamaha contract under his belt.
That's the major thing. It's a Yamaha contract, not a Mastercard contract. Like that's huge in context. Yeah, I hate to say it, but you might be right on this one.
Oh, I don't think that he will do better than Pedro, though.
Do you not?
No, with
Pedro still has consistency issues. That's my
thing. He crashed a lot.
Yeah, but I hope he got all his crashes out of the system now, and now he's just moving forward.
Broken leg. His finger is broken.
I would just like to say that it's always a third of the grid who is probably injured or healing from an injury at the time, and right now they had 5 weeks to recover, do some rehabilitation exercises and stuff. I do hope that he will. Also, Pedro with a broken leg is still better than some people on the grid, which...
Well, yeah, true.
It's
the break that it is. If it was anywhere else, I'd probably go, yeah, but it's the fact that it's his femur. That is a big bone and a big injury to come back from, so...
Yeah, see, I don't think we'll see him till, say, Aragon, which is the problem.
Really?
Yeah, it's a femur. It's a big injury. Rushing back could compromise his entire career. It's not worth it.
He is training, though.
But training and racing is...
To what extent is he training, though? You might post a few pictures on your Instagram to make it look like everything's going smoothly, but none of us will actually know.
Marquez has proven it time and again. You come back too quick, you compromise yourself in many ways.
Yeah.
He's got, again, with his age, he's got so much time. He's got a 2-year contract. There's no need to rush back.
People aren't just going to ditch him straight away because he's not performing coming back from an injury. Like, he's got a lot of time to actually come back and take things seriously and actually take the time he needs to heal
Yeah, because
properly.
If we see him at
his career.
Silverstone, I think that would be the stupidest decision he's made.
Crazy.
Well, I think people have to, because racing has adopted this thing the last few years of, you're a hero because you've come back so soon after an injury, and the Marquez has proven that it's not a good thing to do.
It's not worth it, though. Like, look how much he's gone through. Like, I think if anything, he's proved that there's no point coming back before you're ready to come back, because you've no point to prove. If you come back 50% fitness, what are you showing other than you're not fit enough to be here?
I think
that's it. And Pedro needs to tread the water,
The problem is they all have the racing mentality. They don't want to sit a race out. All they think about is results and winning the championship, doing well. I think it's a big problem where the doctors should be a bit more strict and say, you're not going out, you will not be declared fit. Because you can't leave the decision to the riders, because they don't care about their bodies, they just care about their career. And they don't always put together that those things they connect together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I'd agree with that. Like, that's with Pedro and these people around him say, look, you're not ready.
I think he does, though. I think he has that team around him, and I think he has a
Pedro
sensible enough
head. Mind you, there's an old head on young shoulders, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's so, like, I am constantly impressed by how mature Pedro Acosta is.
Yeah.
Like, with the stories of him doing whatever, but, like, as a racer, he is so mature. Like, even, like, last year, and he was waiting, and he wasn't battling with riders, and this year, again, he manages his risk well. He's mature as hell.
Yeah, but honestly, like, if he's got any sense, he will miss Silverstone and Austria, come back at Misano, bare minimum. It's just not worth the risk.
And let's hope he's in Misano, because Annick and I will be there, so.
Hell yeah.
Nice. But Aragon seems more likely to be.
Yeah.
Sorry to pee on your bonfire, like, but.
Okay, so Moto2's biggest surprise. So this can be obviously positive or negative, to be honest. Depends how you see. But for me, it's going to be positive. It's not really a surprise. I've said they should be on the grid from Qatar. Alonso Lopez has been superb.
Yeah.
Outstanding. The fact that he is... Obviously, he should have been on Qatar. Things got in the way. Passports, things like that. Dorna, thanks for that, Dorna. And he was meant to then ride a Calex in the European Junior GP Championship.
Speed up.
No, because he was going to ride for the promo racing on the Calex.
Yes, sorry, yep. My bad.
Shut up, you. But so yeah, he was meant to ride the Calex, and obviously Romano Fenati was riding for the team as a rookie and got sacked, which was disgusting after 6 rounds it was. Disgraceful to sack a returning. He wasn't a rookie, but he was a returning rider. The whole class changed. He's never ridden a speed up before. He was on the Calex. He's never in the Triumph. They sacked him. Disgraceful. But then Alonso Lopez has come in. He was second last year to Fermin Aldeguer in the Chev last year and was, again, really good and should have had a full-time ride, as I've said. And he's come in this year and he's just been outstanding. From day one, he was Le Mans, he was battling top 6. And then, obviously, Mugello, 8th. Catalonia, 8th. Germany, 7th. Netherlands are in 6th. And so and he led the race. Like, I don't really have the words to say how impressed I am by it, because the kid has been knocked down so many times. He got sacked from the Max team because he didn't have the funds before the season started. Then he had to scramble together a ride for the Team Chiatti last year. And then, he was constantly second to this 16-year-old or 15-year-old wonder kid, but he never stopped working. He kept pushing. And he got the results. He finally got that win, and you saw how emotional it was for him at Jerez. And, and then this year he got passed over for a ride, which is ridiculous because, he's the logical solution and not, riders like Kubo and Zaccone who weren't really anywhere in the Chev last year. And he kind of got pushed over, but he kept pushing, and then he stepped into the World Championship, and he's finally reaping what he deserves, I think. But yeah, so for me, most biggest surprise is Alonso Lopez for me. But
I'll stick with who I said and the thing. I'm going to go with Zonta.
Yeah, that's because you're mates with him.
No, genuinely. His route, right? His route has been the hardest, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Chev
Moto
3 to
that.
World Championship Moto 2. And he's
on a year-old
Kalex, we should point out, but it could be a better bike, we don't know. But, to do what he's done, he's been on the cusp of points so many times. But if he scores a point this year, that would be job done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, to be so close.
He's still, again, he's only 16 again.
Yeah.
He's been rushed into it because of the age limit.
Yeah. Yeah, and to do what he's doing, consistently battling with riders much more experienced than him, be on the cusp of points, I'm sticking with it. I think he's been excellent.
Fair play. What about you two?
I would say Marcel Schroeter. He's one of the people with more experience who was never really shining through with his talent, and right now he's doing pretty well. He's fighting in the front with very fast riders, and I didn't really expect it from him. He's also been struggling at the beginning for many races with a hand injury, I think. So, So I was really not expecting him to do so well this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Now I think about it, I think about it, he's done quite well.
And it was so disappointing in Aston when he lost out on that race win, and I could not believe that he's never won a Grand Prix before, and then obviously the opportunity.
He's never podiumed either, is he?
No, he's got 2, but it took him over 200 races to get his first podium.
Not a win, just no wins yet, which is crazy to me when I heard that.
He's the Nico Hulkenberg of Moto 2, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely been a big surprise. There's so many people that have definitely surprised me this season. I think my biggest surprise is Joe Roberts taking that win in Portugal. I've liked Joe Roberts for a long time. I've followed him for quite a long time, and I think he fully deserves it. And there's been some results where it maybe hasn't worked as well for him. He backed it up with a podium though in Italy. I think the second half the second half of the season is going to be really, really good for him. I mean, he's on a good bike. We know the Untitled team is good. His teammate isn't doing as good, but yeah, I think he's been a big surprise. But at the same time, not really that big of a surprise because, I think he's talented, and I'm happy to see him up there anyway in the top 10 of the championship.
I'll tell you one other. Oh, go on. You do it.
To be honest, I thought Portimao might have been a bit of a lucky win given the situation of the race circumstances and stuff, but backing it up with another podium, he showed. I mean, to win a race, you have to finish a race, and that's But at the same time, he wouldn't have won it if it wouldn't have started to rain.
Yeah, 100%. But you take what you get, innit? That's the thing.
But there's so many people in situations that wouldn't have won races if things had played out differently.
He backed it up with the rest of his performance this season, which is okay, but I think saying that he fully deserved this win solely on race pace during the entire weekend, I wouldn't really
Look how much he checked out, though, to take that race win. Obviously, Dixon.
It was Joe Roberts' territory, wasn't it?
Yeah. Jake fell off, and then Joe literally just checked out. But I think if Jake had stayed on, Joe would have just passed him, and away he went. He was head and shoulders above the rest of the people who managed to restart the race. So I think you can't really... Of course, you can say, well, 10 million people fell off, but he definitely backed it up the way he performed to take the race win. So...
Yeah, and then obviously led at Catalonia strong. Who was it? Who won Catalonia? It was Vietti. And Vietti even said after the race, he was like, Joe was on another planet.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he was like, no one could get near him, kind of thing.
You know when they were coming down from turn 4 down the hill? Roberts was already at the chicane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. But the thing is, it sucks that he did crash out because he kind of then, he had all this, and then he kind of crashed and he then 13th and 8th. And it's he kind of built up to that thing and he was then like second in the championship, I think, at one point.
Yeah,
and then
he was. Yeah.
before he crashed out, and it's like, right, so come on, like
Yeah.
you've shown you can do it. Now keep this on. You know, he likes Silverstone. Shane Bonneau's not on the track on the calendar because I put him down for a win there, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
Yeah, I agree. It's just
I think he
tell you
will
what
back
other
it up.
surprise.
He will back it
is-
up though. Just so.
yeah, he will.
We've been saying that for like 3 years now. That's the problem.
Ooh.
Like one surprise for me as well that I did want to point out is Augusto Fernandez.
Oh,
I don't
didn't
know, no.
expect. No. Hear me out. Hear me out. Not on results, but on consistency.
Yes.
He's finally
Okay, yeah.
found consistency, which I was maybe expecting that he wouldn't find because it's Augusto. He's been up and down like a yo-yo historically.
Yeah.
The most inconsistent, consistently inconsistent rider for years.
Yeah,
and-
literally years since 2019. He's been the most inconsistent. He's been frustratingly inconsistent. So
'Cause he's
now
so
finding
good.
results. IO again is the step riders need clearly,
Yeah.
and he's
that's
found
it.
consistency. So I'm quite surprised at the fact he's done it. Because I
Yeah.
really wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Genuinely really glad to see it.
He was a bit shaky at the start of the season, mind you. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
a fourth and a fifth wasn't bad, but then he had a crash in Argentina and a crash in Portugal, obviously.
Yeah.
But then after that is when he came strong, and that's where the consistency has come in. And if he keeps going the way he's going, he's got the championship in the bag, like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
the
it.
surprise.
He's my favourite for it. Yeah. Right, has anybody got anything more on that surprises before we move to the improvers?
Maybe Tony Arbolino's win. I didn't
No.
expect it. No, I know,
I'm
Lauren.
disagreeing with everyone.
Everyone in the starting lab is a huge fan of Tony Arbolino, and I do like him. I'm just not super hyped about him. And
Well, like he's won a race and then he's kind of just
Yeah, he's just then proceeded to piss off the entire BS team. Like,
Yeah, and Sam hasn't been getting on too well.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
oh yeah, let's
I mean-
knock my teammate off.
good move, Tony. Bad feelings.
I mean, I wouldn't have expected him to be fifth in the standings at the moment.
No, I would. I had really high expectations. I mean, back when he was in
You
Moto
always
3,
have high expectations for Tony. Yes, you do.
Yeah. I think he should have won the 2020 Moto 3 World Championship. I mean, he had to miss out rounds due to
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, he did.
And it wasn't even
Yeah, he's
anybody
missed
related
two,
to him.
yeah.
It was his plane.
Yeah, totally in. Someone was apparently a close contact. I don't know. It was a load of rubbish, to be honest. And that lost him the championship. I really think he should have won it. Not to take away
Yeah.
from Albert Arenas, but he definitely should have won it. And I think things would be slightly different. Obviously, his mindset would be different. Coming in as a champion, whereas obviously he's not. But I'm not surprised to see him fifth in the championship. I'd like to see him be a wee bit more consistent in the second half of the season. But for me, it's really not a surprise to see him that far up.
Yeah, I tell you what, you just mentioned Arenas. Kind of brushed him under the carpet, haven't we?
He's done well. Like, thing is, right, people keep shitting on Arenas because of Dixon. But, Arenas is doing superb.
Better
Yeah,
than Dixon for me.
He's doing well.
Consistency.
Well, yeah, consistency-wise, yes,
Yeah,
but
not on pace. I
performance-wise,
know, not that. I won't going to say that, but he has the ability to finish races for the most part.
I think because he had that big expectation on him though coming in as the Moto 3 world champion, he's going to need time to adjust. It's a completely different
Yeah,
And
class.
of course,
And-
he's been on 2 chassis in 2 years.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
speed up last year and Calax this year, But he's been with the Aspar squad since 2014, maybe even earlier, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
Chet,
glad
right?
he's kind of got that around him. Yeah, because he was in them in Chet for years, So I'm glad he's kind of got that around him, but he's been well. He's been doing good.
Yeah, he's sort of under the radar, isn't he? You didn't even think about him. It's a weird one. When you should be.
Yeah, so on to the next one. Would he be your biggest improver then, or?
Oh, that's Augusto for me, as I mentioned earlier, because of the consistency.
Mm.
Uh,
And I wrote it down and I'll stick with it.
I would say,
Got to be Igora for me.
oh yeah, sure.
I don't know, because Agura at the end of the season was a podium man, and he's still a podium man.
Yeah, it's but him and Vietti, the end of his last season, they were good,
Yeah.
but they weren't winning races or consistently.
But would you say either of them have actually stepped up a level looking at the times from last year to this year? They
No.
plateaued, which is fine, because that's the level required, but I don't believe they've taken a step to improve, either of them.
Yeah, maybe it's just kind of as the riders have gone up, they've kind of just filled their
They're the
spaces.
next best.
I don't think many riders
Yeah.
within this top 10 though have made that much of an improvement.
No, definitely not. Like the real talent from last year has gone up.
Yeah.
So now it's the battle of the rest.
I've got one. Straight up, biggest improver. Screw whatever I've just said. Barry Baltus.
Ooh,
Oh,
Barry.
Yeah.
Big man Barry.
Points now.
Everyone loves Barry Baltus. I don't know what it is. He's just a legend.
he always has the greatest saves.
He does have
yeah.
Crazy.
He's just like best result of what, 9th place in Portimao. Yeah, there was a lot of riders crashed, but then the previous round Kota 10th. You know, he's on a year-old bike again, and he's doing really well. Like, you know, because
would have been in the points at Qatar if not for a crash.
He was on the NTS last. He was in Moto last year. Yeah, he was on a crappy NTS last year, and he still got points then. And then he's on the
Lauryn last year as a rookie in Moto 2.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like put him on like a different team. Like I don't know, Baltus in maybe
Pons would suit Baltus, I think.
Yeah, Pons or Intact GP, and you'd see him top 5 easy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's me. How about you lot?
I don't know. I think I stated it pretty well. Was saying that pretty much the top 10. I don't think they've made that much of a step up.
Jake Dixon.
He'd be the only one inside that top 10 that I would really say.
Hang on. Biggest improver. I've just thought. We're all overlooking him. Somcat Chandra.
No.
Fuck that.
I would have said yes.
No way.
He was nowhere near last year.
No.
Yeah, but now he just crashes.
Yeah, but now he's stopped there, then he crashes.
No.
It's an improvement. It's a big improvement because now he's taken a race win, whereas he was nowhere near last year. You've got to consider that an improvement.
No. Just straight up.
Consistency.
Like Chandra could be the biggest roller coaster of the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, considering his where he was last year, battling for what, like barely battling for points, to then come in this season and take a win, that is an improvement.
Last year he was a top 5 man, I'd say. Like last
I wouldn't
year
say
he was
top 5, top 10 then, yeah.
Yeah, okay, right, yeah. He was he sat between 5th and 21st last year.
That Chandra in a nutshell.
But then this year he sits between 1st and 15th.
Yeah.
So, okay, there is an improvement there, but it's not like...
Oh, it's not an improvement that you would expect of him, don't get me wrong, but there is definitely an improvement.
I mean, there was a point where he literally either crashed or got in the podium.
Yeah, he did a fortune, yeah.
Yeah, but within his last 2 results are, his last few results.
Still confidence last couple of results, isn't he?
15th, 13th. Like, I wouldn't call that improvement. If you'd asked me maybe 6 races into the season, I would have said, yeah, 100%. But at this point now in the mid-season, I'm sort of like, he needs to pull it out of the bag again in the second half of the season for me to say he's really improved this season, because at the minute, I'm not too sure about that. But
like 6 races ago, we were discussing him as like an LCR rider, potentially, instead of a Gura. And then look what's happened to him.
It's just a consistency, though. I think if he showed the consistency, 100% he should get the LCR ride, but he hasn't shown that, so it's sort of, he takes his name out of the hat.
Yep.
But I think Jake Dixon, Annick was saying that a minute ago. I definitely agree with Jake Dixon. I know that's a slightly controversial one, but...
It's good. He's done so well.
He has improved.
Yeah,
There's no 2 ways about it.
He did have some DNFs which were quite unnecessary. But at the same time, he still did pretty well this season. I know that I've been very critical last year, which you weren't a fan of, Lauren.
Jacob's always critical of him. So.
I don't rate him at all, so yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I don't rate him one bit. He's never going to be world champion. Just taking up a good ass bar seat, in my opinion. But
there's 29 other riders that won't be world champion either.
Oh, Like, don't get me wrong, but I think Aspart should get rid of both their riders, if anything, because Dixon's going to stay instead of Arenas, and I think that's the wrong call.
No.
No. I think Dixon needs an opportunity, and he's outperforming his teammate at the minute. And yeah, we can say Arenas has been good and he's been consistent, which he has been this season, but he's not been performing, like, he hasn't got as many points as Dixon. Your teammate's outperforming you.
But it is his first year on a Calex, which is the only flip side to it. counter argument.
I think by the end of the season, I think it'll be upside down, and Arenas will be outscoring Dixon.
I
don't know about that.
I think Arenas is more consistent, but he's not having these glimpses of really good performances at the moment.
Yeah.
Which Jake has shown, but then he crashed out.
Austin. But I mean, Arenas was good in Austin, but then obviously Jake got the podium and Albert fell off, so that's the difference there. That, you know, if it was the other way around, I'd maybe go, oh, yeah, that's something to think about. But at the minute, I do think Jake is showing more potential than Albert, and he does. I think he's just a really nice guy as well, and I think he deserves the chance. And,
you know, off the track, yeah, fair enough. You know what I mean? Like, he's a nice dude, but I think based purely on track, I would keep Arenas, but that's just me.
We'll agree to disagree.
I don't
know. Who would you promote though? It's like if you're going to replace at Arenas, who would you promote?
Sergio.
Oh, I would say Izan.
Yeah, Izan. Yeah. But then that's the thing. They've got two ultra talented Moto3 riders. Both
whoever wins the championship goes on.
Yeah. But like two amazingly talented Moto3 riders, both one in a Moto2 seat, who could probably have more potential than the current Moto2 riders. Stab with the risk.
They're both so young, though.
Looking like thinking about in 5 years, I do think that Izan might be not necessarily might be a better rider, solely on riding, but he has like the entire package, because I think Izan is also a bit more, his personality is a bit more marketable, which also helps with sponsors and everything. I think he has more of the well-rounded image already.
Like, people who listen to this pod will know I banged the drum about Guevara for years. Literally since
he was like
since Talent Cup days, And so, you know, maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think he would be a better idea to put up than either of the current Aspar riders, at the very least.
Yeah, the thing is, though, there's all that shenanigans with the VDS squad as well with Guevara. That, to be fair, given the rumours
to say that.
Yeah, because one of the guys in the VDS squad. Yeah, because I don't know actually.
You're not allowed to say that. Not yet, anyway.
Oh crap! Hold on, 1 minute.
You can have to edit that out.
Shit. 118. 118. Guevara. Yeah, because he signed, but then he didn't sign. Because they denounced it. No, wait, yeah, because the lady at Speed Week denounced it, didn't she? The press officer, Sam Lowe's wife, denounced it to Speed Week. Yeah, because I even put up my story and said, yeah, you know, there were some rumours. Yeah, we can talk about that. It's fine.
No, it
That's common knowledge.
Didn't she announce that Lowe's was staying or something?
No, she denounced it and said that, obviously that was Lowe's wife, denounced it to Speed Week, saying that they hadn't spoken to Guevara. They hadn't even spoken to him, never mind signing him, because the rumour was that they signed him.
Right, okay.
So,
carry on.
Yeah, it is on Speed Week, so yeah, I'm not going to edit that out, it's fine. But yeah, let's go to the biggest disappointment and stay on track, because my biggest disappointment is Sam Lowe's.
Yeah.
It's hard to go past Sam Lowe's. I really like Sam Lowe's, and I thought this year was going to be his year. Controversial in saying that, because obviously Remy and Raul both moved up, and that was like his biggest main competition, obviously. But I really thought this would be his year to sort of dominate, and he has obviously a lot of experience ahead of the other guys. And it's been a lot of bad luck though as well. It hasn't just been him crashing out, like he's been taken out.
Off,
Yeah, but at the same time, when he has stayed on, it's been 7 seats.
No, it's not. It's been 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 3rd. And that's it. 11 rounds, and he's finished 4 of them.
He's been knocked off in 7.
But he's got 2 podiums and a 4th, which is good.
When he finishes, fair enough. But the way he's battling is not.
But that's exactly the same as Chantra, though.
Yeah.
Who you're saying has been a big improver, like when he finished.
He's been a big improver over where he was last year. That's what I'm trying to say.
Drama.
But Lowe's has been a massive disappointment over where he was last year. Like, Chantra's improved from poor to slightly less poor, but it's still an improvement. That's my point.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I do agree with that. But
I'm
Sam,
not saying he's good. I'm just saying he's better.
Sam, yeah, has had a rough season for sure.
Yes, I don't think he's keeping his seat.
No,
Well,
no,
the rumor is that both of them are out, so yeah, just throw that into that.
no. I'd be really surprised if that happened.
Sam's already said that Sam's mentioned a few times. He's mentioned it on Instagram that he was going to be in the same paddock as his brother
Alex,
Lowe's
yeah.
next year.
Oh,
And then he did an interview. Yeah, and he did an interview or something. He made a comment about not being in Moto 2 next year.
Yeah, he's going to Will
because he was fed up of Moto 2 kind of thing.
maybe I've been living under a rock to not have noticed this. But to be fair, that would be nice to see both of them in the same paddock, in fairness. But
yeah,
I think he's been at it so many years that it wouldn't surprise me if he's finally decided to knock it on the head. How many opportunities are you going to give yourself to?
Yeah.
It's been in Moto 2 since 2014.
I think I'd be quite disillusioned at this point, having competed for quite a long time, and quite a lot of bad luck in the process, I will say.
And a lot of injuries.
Yeah, a lot of it, he's only he's got kids, he's just got married, there's only so much you can take.
Yeah.
That's it. But
yeah, he has been, like, I hate to say it because, he's one of the biggest tryers in the world, Sam. Like, he'll never, ever give up. But
I think he knows himself, though, that it's been a rough season. Like, if you hear interviews and stuff, he knows himself that it's not been 100%. And yeah, of course, you can take out the ones where he's maybe been crashed into and stuff like that. But to have crashed out of 6 races, it's,
pretty horrendous.
Not good for anyone.
Can I be controversial?
No.
Go for it.
Bit of a disappointment. I hate that I'm going to say this.
You're going to say Aaron Canet, didn't you?
Oh, please don't, because Annick will kick off.
No.
Canet has done a spectacular job, no. So, it's a rider that I kind of expected more from.
I know what he's going to say.
So, I expected more from this rider. This rider's racing CV has been spectacular. Last year, it was a learning year. But Cameron Beaubier has not hit the mark yet. And the fact that they're already talking about replacing him with Rory Skinner next year.
I can't.
I would like to see Rory Skinner in the class 100%, but I do quite like Cameron Beaubier.
Like, Cam's done well. I don't want to say
Cam.
Yeah.
I want to see Cam in Moto 2, or to be, if I'm being honest, I want to see him on a Yamaha and World Superbikes, to be honest.
Yeah.
I always said he shouldn't be in Moto 2 anyway. He should be on the GRT Yamaha at least, or a Apache Yamaha. But he's kind of, like, he's got that 4th. He crashed out of podium contention in America and Portimao. Yeah. But it's kind of a case of, he's got that 4th, but I'm like, you should have been on the podium by now, mate.
Yeah.
Because he's a 5-time Moto America champion.
Yeah. I think even if you just compare it between American riders, and Joe's obviously doing so much better than him, and he's shown potential but then never been able to execute it. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in him, but it's definitely not been a great season so far. So
no.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want to see him leave for Skinner to come in. I'd like to see both of them racing, sort of thing. But if it came down to it, then I could understand the decision if it did go that way, but I don't want to see it go that way, if that makes any sense.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah.
I want to go with Lorenzo Dalla Porta instead.
I don't. It makes me sad, man.
No, I'd agree with that.
His shoulders, obviously, his shoulders hindered him all year long.
But nonetheless.
But the thing is, right, he's a Moto3 world champion. His teammate back in that, Marcos Ramirez, is also vastly disappointed. He's been high up in a lot of races. He's been like top 5s, but he's nowhere. Yes, he's on the MV.
Here we go. Here's your answer. You can't be disappointed with someone on the absolute worst by a margin now chassis, now NDS is gone.
Yeah.
You can't be disappointed with him. You just can't.
He's done, but the thing is, right, taking that into account, he's qualified really well in some races. He's been top 5 in raced within the top 5. I think Assen, he's been up there, but he can't finish the races. And I'm like,
but who on the MV could?
But he didn't do well on the KLX either. So
yeah, that's the other issue. Like, he's hopped from a brilliant chassis where he was struggling to an absolute shitbox, and somehow is not he's got worse. Like, which,
Mm.
but I say somehow, like, that's kind of the route he was going to take. If he was stacking it on a Kalex, you're going to stack it on an MV. It's just how it is. Like, nobody on the MV has managed to consistently put anything together. None of their riders. Just absolute shitbox. Shouldn't even be in the championship. It's glorified World Super Sport chassis. That's what it is. Crap.
Fair enough. You're a Manzi fan, though, I guess. So.
No, I absolutely, like, even if Manzi and Balder hadn't been on it,
And a Balder
it's
fan,
an
yeah.
absolute shitbox of a chassis, innit? Like,
I've never
but
ridden
Balder
it,
said that the R6 is stiffer. The R6 he rides is stiffer than the MV. Like, come
and
on.
that's like Flexis.
And that's
yeah.
on Pirellis, which are squidgy. Like, to do that on
Yeah.
Dunlops. Crap.
Well, it's like Manu hated it, Gonzalez, when he rode it last year. He
I'm not
hated the MV.
surprised.
So,
Absolute shitbox.
yeah. But yeah, what about you two? Disappointment?
I don't know if there's anyone else that I've been massively disappointed. I mean, we talked about Antonelli, to be honest, earlier, but I think we discussed as much as we need to discuss about that. Otherwise, I would agree with Dalla Porta. Yeah, I don't think there's too many others that have disappointed me. I don't have much expectations for anyone else, to be honest.
Maybe Simone Corsi. I mean, he has the experience and he hasn't scored 1 point so far.
No, he shouldn't be in the championship anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was racing in Italy this weekend.
300 grand gets you that.
Does indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd refer back to the MV comments, but Corsi as well. You're not going to be able to do anything on that thing. So
Yeah.
They could have at least scored 1 point. I don't know.
Wait till we get to Valencia, then it'll be fine.
Yeah. So going into the season, highest expectations for riders. I expected obviously Pedro Costa, I guess, to do well, and he's doing as well as I kind of expected him to do. So I'm kind of
Yeah, I think with Pedro, I think with Pedro, a lot of people expected him to be doing exactly what he did last year, which realistically was never going to happen.
Yeah, not
but
in a million years.
He definitely had some of the highest expectations on him. Aaron Canet had a lot of high expectations. I think Sam Lowe's, like I mentioned earlier, like I thought he'd be winning the championship hands down. So
I think Lowe's is meeting the expectations. Canet is meeting the expectations that has been set.
I put him down for the champ. I put him for the champion. So
yeah,
Alan Canet. Yeah, I do believe in it. I said it from the beginning. I do believe in him.
Yeah. He's about there. I expected him.
I'm glad to see him up there, but I don't see him winning the championship.
Lauren, no. This is
maybe
like
just controversial with you.
Yeah.
Well, like,
it's very controversial. I take this personally.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
On that Excel spreadsheet that we did at the start of the year, I put Canet down for the champion.
Mm-hmm. He did. I'm looking at it right now.
So, but then
look at my MotoGP.
Oops. But I did not expect Vietti to be this high. So
I did.
But Jacob had very high expectations for him, clearly, by putting him as the world champion. So
I think a lot of people had very high expectations in Fermin Aldeguer.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, looking at his raw pace, he's incredible, but he got really unlucky. A lot of people just used him as a bumper and just punted him off.
Yeah.
But
he sort of fell off a little bit now, hasn't he? But I think come Aragon and Misano, those are speed up tracks. He'll shine there.
Yeah, because this chassis plays a lot into it. Like if he was on a Calex, it'd be up there a lot more, like Canet last year, for example. But
yeah, we're coming up to some speed up territory. He'll be there.
I still see a lot of good things from me now. Just because it's not going well for him at the minute, I still think he's going to have a big future and a long career.
That top two that with Guevara and Aldeguer in Talent Cup that year, unbelievably strong.
Like the raw talent is there, it's just not working at the minute. But there's a few people.
I was very surprised at the routes they both took.
Yeah,
because Aldeguer went stock 600.
It was a bit of a weird one, yeah.
Like you just don't do that.
He was meant to do the free, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but then
with Besta, but then of course Besta folded, so he went with Faudel to
No, it was Snipers, isn't it? It was Snipers, but he didn't have the money.
Yeah, and Bester before that, sorry. Like, they were wanting to promote him.
Oh, yeah,
Bester Capital, KDM, wasn't it? Remember them?
Yeah, because he was in the ATC with them.
Yeah, and then Snipers didn't happen, so Fowable picked him up, and somehow he's made it. Like, fair play to him. Very impressive.
So, any more high expectations for his champions? Or is that?
No, I think that's it. I think,
yeah.
I think I maybe thought Pedro and Fernandez would have been doing a bit more of what Remy and Royal were doing last year, but again, it's more of a realistic thing when you think about it. I don't see how realistic it actually was to think that, but otherwise, I think, apart from Vietti being at the top of the championship, I think it's pretty accurate how things are going.
I've just thought of another one for disappointment as well. Philip Salach.
Oh, no.
I was going to no.
Yes.
No.
He's a brilliant on a bigger bike. He should be much, much more consistent than he is. Very disappointed in Salach at the minute. And I don't want to be because I love Salach. He's brilliant. But he's just been awful. He's had
some really scary crashes, which I think knocked down his confidence. And I mean, we have to remind ourselves that he's a rookie and he needs his time to improve.
Maybe
I'm
if it
not
was
disagreeing with anything you're saying, but on paper,
yeah,
where you would expect him to be compared to where he is, nowhere near.
I think if he's still riding in Moto 2, which I assume he is next year, like if he's still down there where he is in the championship, then yeah, I'd be disappointed. But I think I try not to judge rookies too much in their first season, even though I slated Holgado earlier. But
it's harsh to judge him as a disappointment, I guess, because he's a rookie. But when you've seen what he can do on big bikes, I was expecting more, like a lot more, to be honest.
I think as well, when you've seen what he managed to do on a Moto 3 bike, considering how like tall he is, definitely. I think I expected a wee bit more, but I'm not disappointed that it hasn't gone his way.
I'm not saying sack him. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying give him another year, but I was thinking he'd be better at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Cool. Okay, right. Let's go to the World Champions and then MotoGP. So Moto 2 World Champion. I'll be honest, I did not expect Vietti to be leading the championship. Just going to put it out there. Absolutely not.
Well, I did.
Yeah, I could tell. I genuinely thought you were mental for saying that.
I remember.
Like, what the hell? Did either of you, Lauryn or Annick, do you expect Vietti to be this high? Or?
No.
I thought he'd be up there, but I didn't expect him to still be leading. After everything that's happened this season, for him to still be leading the championship, maybe top 5, top 3, but to still be leading the championship, like, it's some shithousery going on for him to still be leading this championship. Like, it reminds me of the 2020 MotoGP season where everyone was just like, no, you win the championship. No, okay, you win the championship. Like, this Moto2 season has just been crazy so far. I really didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, because like Vietti will crash and then Cannett's like, all right, sod it.
Yeah,
Here we go, low side.
Oh, did he go down? Oh, well.
There we go, my time. Yeah.
Yes, I was expecting a little more consistency from him.
Yeah.
And Ogura, to be fair, and Cannett. So, I was expecting more of a actual finishing battle, but he
kind of has been consistent. Weirdly enough, that's what I'm saying. How he somehow still managing to lead the championship. Like he's within the top 10 if he's not crashing out, and that's consistent. And he's only had 3 DNFs, so that's how he's still leading the championship.
Yeah, that's my point. Though, if someone had taken this championship by the scruff and actually been consistent with top 3s, they would be miles ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So for him to do that, like still be leading despite top 10s, that's not normally championship material, is it?
Yeah.
No. MotoGP time, probably the time that everybody's probably been waiting for.
Fast forwarded too.
Yeah, because we're like an hour and a half in and back on MotoGP now. So we'll start with the Rookie of the Year. Currently, the Rookie of the Year is that with Marco Bezzecchi, which at the start of the year, I wouldn't have said it because I did put Raul Fernandez.
I thought it'd be a Duke, but I picked the wrong Duke.
You put Fabio, did you? In fairness, is second.
Yeah, like I just thought the Ducati would be the one to be on, and one of those rookies
Well,
would
it
be.
is.
Yeah. But I figured it wouldn't be a KTM rider, a Tech 3 rider, because of the KTM's problems, which, as I said
Yeah.
in the pod at
I
the
was
time.
oh, it's Ralph Fernandez. He'll ride around it,
Yeah,
But
nope. Yeah.
what about you two? Rookie of the year. Who were you thinking of, and how do you think?
I was also thinking about Raul Fernandez because he's just really good at adapting very fast, but at the same time, I didn't expect for KTM to be this shit. I didn't think they would do extremely well, but at the same time, especially the Tech 3 bike is horrible. I mean, sometimes I feel like they would be better on scooters riding than this one. It's just not working.
I think the rookies should just have a running race, to be honest.
Yeah. It's so bad, the KTM. Like, I feel sorry for Remy and Raul, because obviously they're supreme talented riders, and they just get absolutely dicked.
It must just be like smashing your Swede into a brick wall, like riding that Tech 3. It's horrible. Like, it is, because that KTM is not the KTM of last year or 2020.
Or the year, 2020, yeah.
It's just they go in the wrong direction, which is fine. It happens, but they need to fix it quick, or real problems are coming.
Poor Mike Leitner getting sacked for no reason.
Well, there's no reason, is it?
Yeah, I think everyone sort of expected Raul and even Remy to be the top rookies of the season, but I do think realistically, looking back on it, we were all a bit blinded by how terrible the KTMs actually are. I think we all sort of forgot for a moment that they were going to the Tech 3 team, and we were just so excited for them to move up. I think, I would have put Remy and Raul, but seeing Bezecchi there at the top is no surprise whatsoever. Like, he was good at Moto 2. Yeah, of course he finished behind Remy and Raul, but yeah, seeing him be the top rookie is definitely no surprise, and I'm happy that it's him dominating.
Yeah.
Because like I said at the time, I just thought that the KTM was going to be too much for Raul and Remy to overcome, and turned out I was right, sadly. I didn't want to be right.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wanted to believe it. And you can sort of go, oh, they're so talented and they can come in here and change things. And you've seen it before when riders come in and manage to pull stuff out of a bad bike. But to be a rookie and be on a bad bike, I think it's a lose-lose
and to
combination.
not only do that, but to do that in the strongest MotoGP field ever.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, it is. There's things that are just impossible, and that's one of them. Like, Brad Binder's doing well on it, KTM obviously, but it's Brad Binder, and there's a reason why they've re-signed him for a few more years.
I tell you the other thing as well. I don't think it's a coincidence that the factory boys are doing better, considering they both rode Travis Moto 2 chassis, whereas Raul and Remy rode aluminium Kalexes.
That's a freaking good point that I've never even thought of. Jesus, fair play. Because obviously, they rode the KTM.
And WP suspension on the KTM Moto 2 bikes as well. I don't think it's a coincidence that they were able to handle the MotoGP bike better than the aluminium frame riders.
And the boys who, rode the Cadillac. Yeah. I mean, going on the rookies though, I want to give a big bloody round of applause to Darren Binder, who came from Moto 3. He's doing so well.
Is he beating Dobby?
No.
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a future thing, I'm going to realise that actually I know fuck all.
That's...
So...
Yeah, like the tied points, but with the highest result, Dovy's best result is an 11th, and then Binder's is 10th. So.
Yeah, Darren's doing amazingly well. And people are like, oh, he won't be anywhere near, he'll be 3 seconds a lap off. Oops.
Yeah, he's doing.
How does that humble pie taste?
And the fact again that the Yamaha is shite this year.
Yeah,
the only man that can ride it is Fabio Quartararo. So
I don't know about shite so much as needing a particular style.
It's like Honda, only Marquez can ride it.
I don't think the Yamaha is a bad bike if you adapt to it correctly.
I think it's a combination.
Hated it.
it's definitely a combination of. I think
Yeah.
it's not where it needs to be for even Quartararo at the minute, but it's bad and it's not helping the likes of Binder and Dovizioso and even Frankie. Like, yeah, I think it's a
It's not a
combination of
kind
both.
bike.
No,
And it's built to one rider, but I do think if you can get in that window, it's a great bike.
Well, the issue is Franco Morbidelli is a supremely good rider. You know, we saw him 2020. He should have really been world champion, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, he got a podium on a 3-year-old bike last year, and then he's hopped on. Yeah, obviously he's got the knee injury, of course, but you know, he hopped on the Yamaha this year, and he's just nowhere.
Oh, actually, with the knee injury, we were talking about this last week. Well, it's going to be out at the same time our podcast, like I mentioned earlier. But there was an Instagram clip of him playing football the other day, and I had this whole big spiel about his knee injury. Like, it must still be plaguing him, and that must be why he's performing badly this season. He was out playing football.
He was out playing football.
And I ate my words so hard. I actually forgot to say to you guys about that, but I've just remembered it there now. I was going to send it to you and be like, well, I've just spent 10 minutes trying to say, well, it's the injury, but I don't think it is the injury, and I really don't want to believe that.
The thing is, it's like Fabio can make that Yam work.
Yeah.
And win on it consistently. Whereas, the best that KTM could do, for example, in its operating window is just about a podium. And that's why I don't think the Yamaha is a bad bike. It's just a particular bike. I don't think
the two riders on the KTM are as good as Quartararo.
No, there's that as well. But I don't think anybody could do better than a podium on that KTM in the current field.
Yeah.
No matter who
Oliveira won on it.
Yeah, in the wet, you know what I mean? Like, on a general day, shall we say. It's like that Yamaha with Quartararo can be expected to win at any given track.
Yeah, any circuit.
Yeah, whereas the KTM doesn't. So that's why I think it's not so much the Yamaha being a whole bike, but a very finicky, particular bike that's set up towards one rider.
But
I
do think that being a good bike also, it has to be accessible for more riders, because if you look at Honda with the Marc Marquez situation, if you're just putting all your faith in one rider, it's just not working. And that's like a part of being a good bike is that at least 2 people can ride it, and that's just not the case, really.
Yeah, that's why the Ducati is the best bike.
Yeah. Dovi said something about the bike being only fitted for the way Fabio is braking. Like, he's very particular in the braking zones and braking very late and still keeping everything going in the right direction. And I do believe Dovi is a bit older. He had his sabbatical. He was used to ride for Ducati. But if you even have someone with such experience and still not really understand how to work the bike, there is a problem in itself.
Yeah. Or is it Dovi is the problem in himself because he cannot adapt?
I think Yamaha has more than just one problem. And they are accumulating slowly.
Yeah. It's like, I think he's from a bygone era. You know, he rode the Bridgestones on a Yamaha, and he's gone that far back in MotoGP. Is it just a new age that he can't keep up?
No, I just don't think he ever should have been there.
No,
he should have been on the Aprilia.
Yeah, it's a completely different topic that he shouldn't be there. But
no, it's a shame.
Yeah, but on the rookies, Binder's doing well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. This is all about
Dobby. And obviously shout out to Fabio Gigi as well. He got the pole.
Well, he deserves his contract next year.
Yeah,
100%.
Done well. Right then, so on to the biggest surprise of this year. I think this guy is going to probably be the answer for most people now for the next one. But biggest surprise, I'm going to say, shock horror, Aleix Espargaro.
No, I'm not. I fully expected him to be a race winner this year. And I said it before the season even started, so don't even look like that. The biggest surprise for me is Maverick Vinales.
No.
Yeah, because I did not think he would adapt as quickly as he has to that Aprilia.
Big surprise, if you're not going to agree with that, is Enea Bastianini, man.
Yeah.
Is it not?
I think I'd go with Bastianini and Espargaro. I think I did expect Espargaro to at least take maybe one race win and a few podiums, but not to be as dominant as he has been. I hold my hands up and say that I never really liked Elish for years and years and years. I was like, what is he doing in this class? But he's definitely proved me and a lot of people wrong. And I'm one of his biggest fans now. I think he's great. He's really converted me. But yeah, he has to be the biggest surprise. I thought he'd be there or thereabouts, but not second in the championship. Still battling Fabio as well. Like, he has all the chances in the world to still win this championship, which, yeah, is definitely a big surprise.
Yeah, see, I can't put Bastianini as a surprise either, because I nearly put him for the title.
Yeah, you did, to be fair. Like, I don't know what it is about Jacob, but last year he was saying all sorts of shit about Bastianini, and then suddenly now it's happening, and you're like you said last
Almost
year
as
about
if I
winning
might
races.
actually know something once in a while.
No.
But then it's offset with what I've written, biggest surprise MotoGP, Andrea Dovizioso, and it was a good surprise that I put. And that's pretty much down the drain. That's way down the drain. Like, it was a good surprise, not a bad surprise. I honestly thought Dovi would be a podium contender this year.
I wanted to see him win a race, but he's...
But yeah, like, Unleash isn't a surprise to me, because I've been saying for a while he's one of the best riders in that field. So for me, it got to be Maverick, because I just didn't expect him to adapt to that Aprilia as quick as he has. It's the only one left.
What about you two?
I think Maverick has done well. I wouldn't say he's my biggest surprise. I thought, once he gets his mindset right and gets going, the results should come. He's a really talented rider. There's nothing, you can't say otherwise. I think he's fantastic, but everything needs to be just right for him to perform well. And with the leash on the team, they get on with each other. I'm not surprised. If anything, I actually thought the podium would have come sooner than when it did. I thought he would have clicked faster. And I know it's two completely different bikes and everything, but I don't know. I thought he would have clicked with the team just that wee bit sooner.
I agree, yeah.
I just thought coming from the Yam was going to fuck it, to be honest. It's another way to put it. Because that Yam, as we saw, even last year, was a Fabio machine. So I think if we come into the second half of the season and he starts to be up there with the leash consistency, then that will surprise me. But I don't see that happening. I don't know.
What about you, Annick? Put you on the spot.
I would probably say Aprilia in general.
Yeah.
The team, the developments they did on the bike, bringing new, very innovative updates, like the rear ring and stuff. They're really trying to do something special here, and it's quite obviously working at the moment for them. I mean, they don't have the biggest budget. They were still living with their concessions, of course, but I don't think that the concessions are as helpful to take you from a midfield team to a winning team within a year. Of course, they've been working for quite a few years to improve, and they've been slowly improving year to year. But seeing what they did this year is incredible. Also, the dynamic that they have with the riders, with the team, it seems like a healthy environment for the riders, for everyone working there.
Yeah, definitely. Aprilia is the place you want to be in it.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that they've obviously hired RNF have gone to Aprilia next year shows.
That's massive.
Speaks volumes,
that's huge.
It's going to be quite interesting to see how the Aprilia is next year with all bikes. Whether it's better or worse for the fact that they have to provide more, so they can't just focus on two bikes.
I think they will take a step back, but not a massive step back. I think they will maybe not be as consistent as they are this year, but I honestly give them a year or two and they'll be back up there. Once they get used to running 4 bikes, it'll be... And I really hope that the satellite team is up there and they're not running just at the back of the grid just to be there, sort of thing. I hope that all 4 bikes are competitive.
Yeah.
I can't see anything other than Aprilia being thereabouts, because they finally got their formula right. It's taken... They persisted for years with the 75-degree V4. It doesn't work. They finally hired someone who actually knows engines, used to design Ferrari's engines in F1, Luca Marmarini, who incidentally is now going to Yamaha for 2023. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be an inline 4 against the V4. But it's like, for me, they finally nailed it. Now they need to make the most of it and capitalise.
So, going away from riders a little bit, biggest surprise MotoGP, Suzuki's exit.
Yeah.
We've seen it before, though. In fairness, like, is it that big of a surprise? They have thrown tantrums before and just decided to leave the championship.
Well, this one's to do with their cars, isn't it? Which is
This
the
is
problem.
financial.
Yeah,
because they got built up, haven't they? And
they didn't even make the bloody things. It was Peugeot. Like, they were something to do with emissions. You know, like how VW cheated their emissions.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Peugeot designed a cheat as well, and Suzuki had their engines, so they didn't even make them, and now they're forced to pull out. It's super harsh.
Yeah, but they got their 2020 championship.
Well, what I was thinking was they'll come back next year with concessions.
Or BMW badge Suzuki.
Yeah, with concessions, so that they can have more engines and stuff. Happy days.
It's just so annoying because I've said the entire season Alex Rins will do better, he will get more consistent, and he started doing that, then Suzuki pulled out and he lost his head, everything went down the drain, and now all my predictions are also completely shit.
Yeah,
I agree
it
with
hits
you.
Spain and just...
I don't think it's a surprise that Suzuki are not the dominating force they were the last 2 years after this.
Well, it's because they have races fixed for them so they could earn a bit more money, but...
I think it's more to do with the fact that they'd be thinking, why? Fuck you, Suzuki. I ain't riding not 100% for you, risking injury now.
Yeah, like, if they're just going to pull out, then...
Yeah. You're not going to... You don't want to snap yourself in half and then put yourself out of a seat, do you? It must play into the rider's hands.
I'm just disappointed a bit on Mir, but we'll go into that in a minute. But biggest improver... obviously, I put Maverick Vinales.
Yeah.
For mine. But... That's why I put preseason. Yeah, he's improved. But for me, the biggest improver this year... Again, it's got to be Aleix because he's getting consistent podiums now. He got his second. Well, Aleix got his second ever MotoGP podium last year, and now he's had 5 more this year. But Johan Zarco again is pretty darn good at the moment. Bastianini has obviously made a step.
Yeah, the thing about Bastianini was, apart from Misano, he was 10th.
Yeah.
So he's made the biggest step for me.
But another one for me as well as Luca Marini has made
Yes, I was about to say Luca. He's the other one.
You still know how happy I am. You used to say that.
I will agree this season, but like lately, yeah. At the beginning, in the first races, he wasn't where he should have been, maybe. Lauren and I, we have hours of arguments over Luca Marini, which I think we'll never see any streaming platform ever because it just took way too much time. But the bottom line is that she wants to give him more time to improve. I said and the problem was, I think last year and in the first 3 to 5 races, I couldn't remember one moment where I was really like, oh, that was a great overtake or whatever from Luca. This was a great qualifying session. I got here a result. It's not just results based, but I was really skeptical of him. Lately, he's doing well. At the same time, he is still behind Bess in the standings. I know Lauren wants to say they are in different bikes, which I know, but still. I mean,
but that's the argument I've made. I think the 21 is a better bike than the 22.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
You don't have to look very far to know that the 21 is a better bike than the 22, but there's so many more things that factor into it. Yeah, there's arguments that Annick and I have had over this that have been hours long that have had to be cut out of podcasts because we're near screaming at each other, but I definitely think he's improved. I think he's on the up, and I can definitely only see it going up from here. I rate him really highly as a rider, and I want
He's a slow
people.
burner.
Yeah, I want people to take who he is out of like their minds. Like, yeah, he's Valentino Rossi's brother, but that has nothing to do with it, sort of thing.
He does
Like,
have good genes, though.
he has great genes, but like, yeah, you got to take that out of your head and like don't even think about that and just think of him as himself. And
Yeah. He's always been a slow
thing.
burner, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
never been like
But,
ready to
like,
explode on the scene. He's
they're all
always constantly improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bez.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Bez was a weird one because he obviously was on the Mahindra in his Moto3 first years, and then he hopped on the KTM, bang, straight away. He was both. I think Bez, when he gets on a good bike, he's there, but he's there, but he's not there. But I think now that he's got that podium.
I tell you something though. Speaking of disappointments and Ducatis,
We're still on the biggest improvers.
no,
here.
hold on.
Come on, man.
We
Jesus.
haven't got there yet.
After this, but I'm just thinking now, like, because it'll link into it, but would you say Jorge Martin has been an improver?
No, he's been an absolute massive disappointment.
But he missed so much of the season
No.
last season.
But
Is
he's
it
still.
No.
But he's still.
impossible to be any worse, you know? Because he
He's
missed a
doing
good
it.
chunk.
No, he's doing worse somehow. He's doing worse.
Yeah.
What do you mean
But
somehow he's doing worse?
We'll go on to that in a minute because he's still on the improvers.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
if we go on to look at Marini, anyway, I wouldn't read too much into the fact that he's below his teammate in the championship. Honestly, like, I think Bez 100% deserved that podium in Assen, but
Yes, of course.
yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it that Bez is ahead of Marini, because I think at the end of the season it could be flipped the other way. There, you know, Misano and stuff like that's coming up, but yeah, which we know Luca runs well at. You know, he started
Yeah,
in front
and-
last year, so yeah,
but
there's
what if
some
Bez wins?
Well, then
Which
I'll
is
eat my
very
words.
possible.
I'll 100% eat my words, but yeah, I definitely see Luca continuing going the way
And the
he's
thing with
doing.
Marini is he finishes every race.
Yeah, that's
He's finished
Yeah.
every MotoGP race ever.
What we were saying
Which
at
is
the
amazing.
start of the season, wasn't it? That if he can link his qualifying into finishing as high as he qualifies, he's on to a winner. Well, he's showing signs of doing it now, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So, what about you two? You got any biggest improvers?
I think someone who didn't improve in general, but on their consistency, is Miguel Oliveira. He was all over the place last year, and mainly he wasn't in good places. So he's become a bit more consistent, finishing inside the points. He had his win, his podium, which he also had last year, but other than that, last year there wasn't much to rave about him. I think if you're looking at which bike he's on and how he, compared to last year, it's way better.
Yeah, it's night and day, you know. He's actually finishing races.
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully.
I maybe would have said Bastianini if he hadn't have crashed in 3 races. Now, I know that's not loads of crashes, but he was sort of going through a phase where he was crashing, winning, crashing, maybe taking another win. Yeah, I think he has a lot of potential, and I really like to see him be up there a wee bit more in the second half of the season. And then I'd definitely say that he's the biggest improver for sure.
Well, when he's on that red bike, he'll be fine.
Nah, he's going Pramac. Come
No,
on.
I want to see him on the factory seat.
Yeah, I
Well,
would give it to him
the-
over Jorge Martina every single
rumor-
video.
I'd do it, but the rumor is that it's he's going Pramac and Martins at factory.
I know.
Unfortunately,
Based
but it should
on-
be Zarco. So
Well, yeah. I mean, based on performance, it should be Zarco, but
Yeah.
to be fair, they shouldn't have actually got rid of Jack, I don't think. But if you're basing it on performance, of course, it should be Zarco. But then if it's just between Martin and Bastianini, then it should be Bastianini. 100%.
I mean,
Yeah,
based
sure, more.
yeah, for sure.
Based on performance, it should be Zarco, but if you're thinking a bit more 5 or 10 years into the future, Bastianini or Martin make more sense.
No, because they'll just sack them if they don't perform well.
Yeah, but
Look,
at the same
Jack
time,
Miller
at
has
the
been
same
doing
time,
how many
they
years?
also can go look somewhere else, or you don't know. Like they also need their time to get to grips with the bike.
No.
Well,
Ducati aren't afraid just to
they
sack.
bring back Alvaro Bautista or something. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd pay to see that, in fairness. That should happen.
I'd love to see him do a wild card. That'd be so good. Like, well, Aruba IT have already done a wild card with Piro, so put Bautista on it.
I was rated to Bautista in MotoGP anyway, long before he was performing well in World Superbike. So yeah,
there you go.
I was there for his pole. Yeah,
We
his only pole, I think, wasn't it? Silverstone 2012.
Can't remember. I don't know how many poles he's got, but yeah. So biggest disappointment for me, Jorge Martin.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Annick, no, you can't say anything otherwise.
Franco Morbidelli. Also, I'm looking at your predictions that you've written down on the Excel sheet, and someone put Fabio Quartararo. I am offended on behalf of Fabio.
My God, Cameron.
Can't put Fabio.
Oh
my God, he did.
I'm sorry, Lauren and I are leaving. Yeah, we're out.
Oh, Cam. I hope he listens to this and he's just smacking himself in the head. Cam. Yeah, I actually put Morbidelli, but I think it's between him and Martin, isn't it?
I would agree that Martin wasn't great at the beginning, but at the same time, I do think that he's the one that showing the most potential to be better in the second half.
Well, when he went back to the older forks, he was a different rider in all fairness.
And he's had that operation now, hasn't he?
They never said how long he's been struggling with his wrist, like the nerve damage, so we don't know how many races.
Was it not since Portimao crash?
Portimao crash.
Yeah. We talked about it in Mugello. There was talks about surgery back in Mugello, and then obviously coming into the summer break, he's got it because obviously he's needed time to recover from it for them to push it off for the summer break. But I don't know. I always can't look past him as disappointment though.
It's always difficult with their injuries because teams aren't very transparent with how the medical condition is actually around all the riders. So I don't know. I'm trying my best to defend Jorge Martin here, but it's very difficult.
It's tough at the minute, isn't it?
It's a difficult position. I mean, he's had some great qualifying results. He's been on the podium.
Oh wow!
I think second half of the season, Jorge Martin will be a different rider, but I think he's already done the damage for this season. Yeah, it's him or Morbidelli because both of those are race-winning riders that have nowhere near race-winning.
I mean,
there's
the problem with Morbidelli is the gap he has behind Fabio in every race is so big, which is,
it's like 30 seconds. Yeah,
it's really bad.
It's like a second a lap.
I thought because they'd been teammates before.
I tell you, my other big
Turners,
disappointment as well, Alex Marquez.
Massive.
Oh yeah.
I was going to go with Paul Espargaro, so I guess you can intervene there a little bit.
To be fair, all of the Repsol Honda.
Every Honda full stop, really.
I still can't believe that Mark is the highest placed Honda rider with I think by 20 points or something like that, and
he's missed 5 races.
That's terrible.
5 races.
That's terrifying. That's actually terrifying.
He wasn't even on the podium. Paul was.
Yeah, and Mark finished every race in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, see, the thing is with Alex, at Portimao, I thought he turned the corner. He was flying.
Yeah.
And then he just went, nah, I'm out.
Not bothered. I do think, though, Alex
He's
Marquez
going to
will
win a race next year. Yeah.
On that Ducati, he'll win a race.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him on the Ducati next season because we talked about it a lot recently of sort of he's fallen in that he's Marc Marquez's brother. He's getting all the he's going to get time to just sit in the Honda and no one will question it if his contract gets renewed. But I really think this is a good step for him to sort of break the mold of the Honda and go to Ducati. And now he can really prove himself as a rider. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And people can say whatever they want about him. But I'm a strong believer that it's going to go well for him.
He's going to get on a good bike that turns. Who'd have thought you would be saying that? You get on a Ducati to turn.
What? Dobby's crying in his sleep.
Yeah, Dobby on this Ducati would be unbelievable.
I'd be
absolutely
He's
just a master of shit timing, isn't he?
I just don't know why they sacked Dobby because, well, I do, obviously,
Yeah.
because they wanted Peggy Bagaya and Jack Miller. But honestly, I think if Dobby would have stayed, he would have won in 2021.
I mean, he
Definitely.
did have big problems with, was it Gigi Dall'Igna? Where
Yeah,
they
he
were
was
just
the management
fighting
and
for
They were
years.
just
Yeah.
like eyebrow to eyebrow, weren't they? Like,
Let one dream. I would love to have seen Dobby win a world championship, and I think 2021 would have been his opportunity to do it. You know, with
Well,
Marquez out and the bike
Yeah.
being the best on the grid, he would have had the experience over Fabio. It all would have worked for him 100%, and they really screwed that up by sacking him in 2020.
well, what's ironic is the fact that him and Gigi were clashing over the fact that Ducati didn't turn.
Yeah, and look what it does now.
Unbelievable.
It's
Just, it's just,
just a catty,
yeah,
innit?
it's Ducati all over. It is.
Yeah.
Like, surely Gigi would have known this one was going to turn. And he sacked him anyway. It's just it's cruelty.
Oh, it's in it. But yeah, so biggest disappointments. We've got a few. I mean,
Glamia.
I don't know. I am quite disappointed by Mir.
But
2020 MotoGP champion, and he's not even got a podium yet.
No,
He's
I'm-
like, to be fair to him,
he's
like he's got,
consistently top 6, though. That's the issue.
Yeah.
but he's
you
not
need
got a
the step.
podium yet.
Yeah, you need the step to be champion again, and you
I
got
don't
that.
know.
He's
No, he never should have won that championship. And that's so horrible. I hate saying it, but I mean, I do.
Yeah.
100% back myself in that one. But like, he never should have won that championship, and that was the strangest year ever. And you can see it in his 2021 and 22 performances that it was a fluke. Of course, it was a
Well,
fluke.
I don't think it was a fluke. He's definitely got the talent to win another title.
It was just consistency. He won one race, and it was just there were so many other riders that should have won it. They lost their heads. They crashed.
Fabio, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
okay,
like,
maybe-
Mia is probably one of the more talented riders in that field. And I wouldn't call it a fluke so much as right
Maybe
place,
not a-
right time.
yeah, maybe not a fluke, but
You've still got to be supremely talented to win a MotoGP title.
of course, I think everyone's talented
Yeah.
in the class. I just, yeah.
The
He's-
one thing that get me is people say, oh, he won an easier championship. If anything, he won a harder championship because he had
Yeah.
less races to win it.
Yeah. that's
Everyone
true.
was throwing it away as well. He was the one that, yeah, okay, he managed to keep his head and he managed to finish more races than everyone else and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, of course, he's deserving in that sense, but he hasn't done anything since to back it up.
Yeah, the Suzuki
No,
was the
he's-
best bike that year as well.
Yeah, like he's only won one race in the class. But I do find it funny though that 2020 season that obviously he won the championship by 5 points, and he gained 5 points when Alex Rins let him by at Valencia to win that race. Like if he hadn't done that, he would have been champion.
I think we all
yeah.
need to cut the Suzuki riders some slack. They've been in a
They're
difficult
helen back at the moment.
It's like getting abandoned by your parents. They're just like going away, and
Well,
you
but-
need to find your own new family.
Yeah.
The thing
But
with
it's
Here's your
difficult.
siblings, get out.
Yeah, they were basically orphans for the
Yeah.
past
Yeah.
few races.
the thing with Mir is that's even worse is with Honda. They're still obviously having issues with the contract and it's stalling. If Mir doesn't sign with Honda, he hasn't got a seat in MotoGP next year. Full stop.
That's a
Like, that's
sin.
it.
That
They'd
would be a
stupid
sin.
not to take it.
Yeah.
That would be horrendous if Mir didn't get a seat.
I tell you,
But-
another disappointment is like even in the Honda context is Taga.
Yeah.
He's been
Yeah,
fucking awful.
I
There's no other way to put it.
But not only
Like
in
Catalonia.
where he's finished races, but his decision making of just deciding to go fucking
Or lack of
mental.
decision making, yeah.
Just absolutely sending
I
it.
put something on my Instagram story of like when he went to hospital. I said, "Oh, the scan will find out he doesn't have a brain."
No brain cells.
Oh my god, the backlash I had for that. And I was
I can
thinking,
imagine.
where's the lie?
Yeah.
Like he must be fucking brainless the way he's going. Like he got a death wish or something. I wouldn't put him on a fucking Honda Cub 90. I wouldn't at the minute.
But
Terrible.
like the thing with Taka is that podium dream is gone now.
Oh, it's long gone. It went the second he went down the road from pole
At
at
Aragon.
Ah, That's
The
when it
4
went.
corners. And he even said it was because of stress.
Yeah. Like that you even if that was the case, you don't say that. That's just like, you're cracked. And that's the end of it. Everybody's gonna be jumping all over you for it.
Can I throw one more controversial one out there?
Yeah.
maybe not biggest disappointment, but a disappointment in general is Pecco Bagnaia.
I knew you would say
Prosecco.
that.
Prosecco
And-
Bagnaia.
Prosecco Bagnaia,
Yeah.
indeed. That guy has just been. He's one of my.
Yeah.
He is my biggest disappointment aside from the obvious ones. I thought he should have been leading the championship. He should have been running away with it, to be honest. I didn't think Fabio stood a chance. I'd like to back Fabio. I'm a big fan of him, of course, but realistically, I thought that Pecco would have just been away with that. He would have had it in the bag by this point already. Maybe not mathematically, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have
So,
been.
the end of last year, he was unbelievable.
Crazy good.
And okay, the Ducati really did make a backward step with this year's bike, of course, but
The pressure.
to crash out of Qatar and take Martin out, and then 15th, 5th, 8th, and then finally wins a race at Catalonia, but then crashing out of Le Mans, then he wins, and then again he obviously get knocked off at Catalonia, and then crashed out of the lead, I think in Germany or second at Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
And then
this
he
is not
won at
going your
Assen.
title.
And then crashed out of a roundabout in Ibiza. Just,
yeah, the theme has continued. He's took his one and
yeah.
he's
So,
crashed
I've
again.
not got
Win,
not got
crash,
any
win,
races
crash.
this week. Fuck it, I'll just crash here
Yeah.
instead.
No, I see.
Okay, he did win the Ducati week though. He did win the World Ducati week.
So now he's going to crash out of Silverstone.
Now he's going to crash at Silverstone. Yeah.
Fabio has a long lap, so we
Oh yeah, cool.
Who's leading the constructors' title?
Ducati?
It is Aprilia. Oh no, that's the
Ducati.
team. Sorry, that's the team. Oh,
I
is
mean,
it?
it can only be Ducati with Enea winning so many races. Then,
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's Ducati. Yeah, but
And then
Yeah.
Aprilia are
Yeah.
leading the team's championship.
yeah.
and if you have 8
Yes.
riders compared to Aprilia's 2, of course you're leading over them.
Yeah.
That's the biggest surprise to me then, that Aprilia are leading the team's championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually mind-blowing.
Well, Ducati this year, them on the constructors have got a podium every race.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Say no more.
Well, that's what happens when there's so many of you.
I mean, if you own a
can't
half the
really
grid.
go wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a swarm, innit?
Yeah, it's just like it's
And
gonna
not
happen,
only
isn't it?
having that many riders, but that many good riders as well. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it don't mean nothing if you put them all on the last, 6 rows. Just, yeah.
That's it. So, highest expectations for this season. I don't know
Yeah, I put
who I
Pecco.
would. Who do I put? I put Marquez, and yeah, because I genuinely thought he would come back and just absolutely smoke him, but
So did I.
unfortunately his arm is still broken, I guess. And obviously everybody else, a lot of people, obviously Jacob and Cameron put Bagnaia, and we just kind of discussed it that we had expectations for him, but
Yeah, once the pressure's off, Pecco's a different rider. As soon as there's any kind of pressure applied, which wasn't him in Moto 3 and Moto 2.
But this is the thing,
Why he's
right?
falling apart.
this is consistent with the factory Ducati team. Every rider who goes to that factory Ducati team shatters under pressure. Dovi did it, Lorenzo did it, Iannone did it, Miller's done it.
I wouldn't say Lorenzo did it.
Well, he didn't win a championship, did he? And he
He didn't
kind of-
fall,
No,
he
but
didn't fall apart.
they got rid of him too soon.
Yeah,
That's a
he would have
whole
won the
different-
2019 title otherwise.
Yeah, that's a
Like-
whole different.
And that's
Yeah.
Mark
Completely.
Marquez would not have had half the points he did.
No.
If Lorenzo
No,
had stayed
but
in
like-
2019.
that factory Ducati team is a cooking pot of pressure, and
I think
riders
it's
just crumble in it.
the 3 top guys all there every race. It must be
Yeah.
like you're like crawling through the desert and you've got 3 vultures watching it. That must be
Yeah,
where it's
what was
like.
it? Tadodzi, Gigi, and
Yeah,
what's it
imagine
on?
Gigi's eyebrows staring you down, and then behind him is Tardozzi and Chibati as well.
Chibati. And yeah, then you get obviously Domenicali turning up at the Italian
Yeah,
round.
yeah,
Like,
Dominicali
yeah.
right behind it. You'd shit yourself.
Just like, whoa.
But I don't understand why there is this such high expectation because it's not like they're champions. I mean, when was their last championship? Was it Stoner?
2007.
Sona.
Their only championship.
Oh,
2007.
I remember it in fairness, but for them to have all that pressure and all these riders makes no sense to me considering they don't have the championships to back it up. So maybe
'Cause
that
they've
is
always
why
had
the
the best
pressure is
bike.
there. Yeah, well
Because-
maybe that's why the pressure is there because it's like, okay, now this is our time, we're going to win the championship, this is it, we've got the formula just right, and then it's still
And then say that since 2015.
yeah.
I mean,
I think Ducati has the problem with, I don't know what the saying is in English, but too many chefs destroy the soup or something.
Yeah. No, literally.
Yeah, that's it. It's I think they just need to if they literally just take a step back and say, go have fun. I bet Pecco would piss it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, just take the pressure off Becca and just go and ride the bike.
But even if you crash, we'll shout at Miller.
It's not Miller's
Punch
fault,
Miller in the face.
Yeah, I think
Miller could be the punching bag.
Yeah. Like, even if you crash, we'll just take it out on Pramac. So go and have fun. It's fine.
Yeah.
He
Take out
win
their
every
budget.
round. It's crazy.
I don't know, because then maybe Fabio would put the pressure on him and it would still, maybe it would still crack.
I'd rather take on Fabio than all three of those together. Like a
true.
You come to me on this, the day of my Ducati. I'd rather take Fabio on, 100%.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. So yeah, the highest expectations. Who would you lot put?
I think other than Pecco, it had to be Mark, but that's only because everyone sort of thought he was on the mend and that this was the start of the comeback, and it was sort of like, okay, the comeback's on now, 2022. Like, just wipe 2021. Yeah, he got 3 race wins, but like this was his time to really go for it. And then as the season started, you're sort of finding out slowly it's not really going as planned and that he's not as fit as that we thought, and the diplopia coming back after a big crash, like he just can't crash like he used to, and then coming out that he needs another surgery and all. Yeah, I think there was big expectations there, but I think if they'd just been honest and sort of said that he really wasn't 100%, they sort of did hint at it, but yeah, they should have just point blank said, look, he's not himself.
He's not good.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you think maybe Fabio Quartararo as well? I mean, people probably expected him to have to.
He's champion,
He had to. I mean, the GP22 Ducati bike was predicted during preseason to be the best and strongest bike for this season. There were a lot of expectations there. Pecco did brilliantly at the end of the season, and I think people expected that Fabio would have to step up to defend his title, especially since it was pretty clear that that Yamaha is just refusing to give Fabio more horsepower. So
I think he has stepped up though. I think there was high expectations there, but he's met them. Apart from Assen, apart from Assen, where there was a bit of a shit show, but yeah, he's definitely exceeded expectations for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if he.
Leader.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he won it, to be honest.
Oh no, 100%. I thought he'd be behind the Ducati train at this point, like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Oh yeah, I fully expected it to be Ducati. Like, brr. Yeah. I mean, yeah. To be fair, I had high expectations for both the Tech 3 boys coming into the season just because of last year and obviously what we saw them do last year. But I had high expectations for Andrea Dovizioso as well because
so did I.
Dovy's back. But unfortunately those 3 have not met the expectations. But then riders like Vinales, who I had high expectations for, he's meeting those expectations. And
yeah, but that's where we differ, I think, because I just wasn't expecting anything from Maverick this season. I thought it'd be a learning year.
Well, it was meant to be, but obviously because he had a few rounds last year, that really has boosted his development process a lot faster.
Because I was just thinking that last year would still have been a write-off, like because his head was shattered. So I thought it was utterly pointless fielding him last year to a point, other than to get like fit in on the bike. But clearly he's taking it all in. So
I mean, he has potential to win championships.
Oh, he should have won a championship by now.
Oh yeah. I mean, by now he definitely should have won a championship. So I think
if he stayed Suzuki, he would have.
Yeah. I do. But even with Yamaha, when he first came into Yamaha, sort of there was expectations there for him from the get-go to be doing.
And he did it at the pre-seasons, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then they changed the tyre and boom, egg gone. Again.
Yeah.
Well, like, because he won the
opening
he won the opening 2 races, crashed out of Argentina, crashed out of Cota, and then Marquez won, and then he didn't win another race for the whole of the next season until 2018 Phillip Island.
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
It
Like,
did coincide with the tyre construction change, though.
yeah, of
That
course,
is
but
worth
it's like,
pointing out. It
yeah,
completely fucked Yamaha for a season or two.
but again, that's Maverick and his mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he needs it to be
Fabio could have run around
perfect.
it. Maverick didn't.
Maverick, but then Rossi also always had issues with the same tyres, and
Yeah, like it
he
did
hated the
ruin Yamaha's
Michelins.
development path. Don't get me wrong, but really good riders can ride around issues.
I don't think Maverick, looking back on it, that he ever should have went to Yamaha, because that wasn't where he should have been with Valentino Rossi as his teammate. Like, those two weren't gonna work out, and maybe at the time everyone sort of thought, oh yeah, this is going to be great, but no, it was never going to work. And him and Elise, you can see it already, how well it's working between them and how they can help each other, whereas that wasn't the case at Yamaha. And obviously him and Elise were at Suzuki together as well, so they have that connection with each other and they're friendly with each other. So I think there is big expectations of him, and I think I had big expectations for him coming into the season for sure. And I said that earlier, I thought he would have been on the podium sooner this season, but now the expectations on for the second half of the season, can he keep it going?
Yeah, he should be able to. He's on the right bike to do so.
Yeah,
which is the main thing. If this was Yamaha, he'd be 21st, 1st, 2nd, 19th. It's just...
Yeah, he's a lot more consistent now. I mean, the fact that he's only had one DNF and that was from a technical issue, and then he went back to the Yamaha garage and didn't smash it up. No, Aprilia garage didn't smash it up. He was just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he was happy. And he wasn't mad.
Because he knew what he had just done and had the potential of the bike.
Yeah.
I think is this a new corner for him? But that's the main question, or is he going to go back to his old ways if something goes tits up?
Yeah, I'll maybe wait and see on that one. The jury's still out to see what
the way
he's
Aprilia
like.
are going at the minute, if it goes tits up, because it's such a good bike at the minute.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? So we'll go on to the world champion, unless you've got anything more. Okay, and then we shall end up, I guess. So world champion, obviously me and Jacob put Mark out of the question, but if it wasn't Mark, I think we'd probably have gone for Pecco.
I think I was either going to go Pecco or Enea.
Or Nea?
Yeah, I say it on the actual pod. I said it on the pod at the time. I very, very nearly went to Enea Bastianini for this title.
Did. I remember, yeah.
But I probably would have gone Pecco.
I think
this is where I don't know. Go ahead, Annick.
At the beginning, during pre-season, I think it was difficult, but I thought it might be Pecco. But after the first race in Qatar, I was completely off that train. I was so happy, not happy for the DNF, especially since he took out Jorge as well. But I was just happy to see that, even though Fabio didn't have a good result in Qatar, but there was still more potential in seeing his performance, how he's gelling with the new bike and everything.
I think this is where I differ the most from everyone, because I said Fabio from the start of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to say Fabio, but I just thought the Yamaha had gone in such a poor direction compared to those GP22s. I was really hesitant, even with Fabio's talent.
I remember saying, I don't know if it is on our podcast episodes or not. I can't remember when we talked about it, but we definitely did talk about it at one point. Maybe if you go back to the start, it will be there. But I do remember having a conversation with the rest of the girls and everyone picking Pecco. And even when we were picking predictions for the first 2 rounds, everyone was picking Pecco. And I was like, no, it's going to be Fabio. It's going to be Fabio. And I don't really know why, considering the bike was so bad in pre-season testing, but I just had this feeling, and I literally said, I was like, Pecco's going to lose his head again, and there's going to be something. I could see it happening, and then it has. But in fairness, Pecco has won 3 races, and Fabio's won 3 as well, but, Fabio's been more consistent. Yeah. I didn't see it going as plain sailing for Ducati, because it hasn't in the last however many years. So, yeah, weirdly enough, it seems to be going Fabio's way at the minute, but
Fabio's decision, after Argentina, where he said, it ain't getting better, I'm just going to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's
and he's just right around it,
because I said after Qatar, I really doubt he'd even win a race because the Yamaha was such a poor machine.
But I think he's almost done. I think he's almost done what Pecco needs to do. I think he's gone, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go out and enjoy myself and just see what happens. And then look at the spike in performances since Argentina.
A happy rider is a quick rider. That's the problem.
Exactly. And as much as, he hates the bike and he's openly said that the bike is terrible, I think he's having a good time still. I think him and the team seem to work well, even though there is that flaw. But,
I think he'd rather win on a shit bike than 8th on a good bike he enjoys. So
yeah, he's proving everyone
the best
wrong.
thing ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Fabio did backtrack a bit in his comments about the bike, saying that he was a bit too harsh at the beginning, talking about it. So
I think
I think he's just seen how Honda and KTM are struggling, and he's like, I'm happy with what I've got.
Qatar was a false dawn, 100%.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, including KTM, who were second there. And
yep, 100%.
Yamaha with Fabio is the epitome of slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. But I think he's made a step up as well. He could almost be an improver somehow because in Mandalika, he came second in the wet, and that's crazy for Fabio to do well in wet races. He's not a wet rider at all, and I would never put him up there when it is raining. And he did go back slightly, and then all of a sudden it's like his mindset changed in the middle of the race, and away he was, and he was flying during that race. And if Miguel hadn't have been so good from the get-go, Fabio could have won that race, which is not something you would say when talking about him riding in the wet. So I think he's just had a complete mindset change, and he's already won the championship last year. So of course, take the pressure off yourself. You're already a world champion. So
what's really special about Fabio is, even in races where he doesn't end up on the podium, he's still being so good. I mean, if you look at Kota, he was doing so well while he was defending against Mark. And I mean, to hold off Mark at Kota for a certain amount of time is an achievement in itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like a Mark that was coming through the field the way he was doing as well.
And on a Honda, which is an absolute rocket in a straight line. Like that Honda this year is unbelievable on the straight.
I mean,
two of them.
Mark would have won that race if he hadn't had the mess up on the starting grid. Like 100% he would have won that race. No doubt.
Oh, yeah. That was his.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like Alicia Assen, if that hadn't have happened, I think Alicia should have won it. But then I guess, I don't know if he'd have ridden the same way or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Then it's like Pecco wasn't pushed. So
Pecco,
in hand. Yeah. It's if Granny had plum, she'd be grandpa job, innit? One of those.
Yeah. Well, like Bezzecchi did try and start getting at Pecco. Pecco just opened up a bit more, didn't he? So
it's a different kind of pressure though when it's Bezzecchi compared to say Fabio or Alish behind you. Like he's gonna go, oh, it's Marco. So like they ride together a lot, they train together a lot. He's gonna have a different thought in his head compared to like, oh crap, it's Fabio catching me, or oh crap, it's Alish.
He knows Bez ain't gonna step in.
Yeah, or make a mistake or like take him off sort of thing. Like they're not like that. So he would have been thinking completely different with Bez behind him compared to how he would have been thinking if it was someone else battling for the championship.
Because he did say he had more in that, but I'd like to have seen just how much more.
I would have liked to see the battle. Like I wish all three of them had stayed up there, because I think it would have been more definitive and we really could have seen more from all three riders. So hopefully we get some more with all those three at the front later on in the season, because I'd like to see the outcome of that one.
Yeah, me too. Or like just some battles. That's kind of why World Superbikes has been so good this year.
Yeah.
There are battles. Take a shot. But because there are battles. And
do you want to mention any more future world champions so people can get absolutely steaming while we're at it?
God. But I guess, I don't know. Yeah, it's just not enough battles at the moment. So I'd like to see some more after the, at Silverstone or whatever, just see, because I think Fabio will clear off at Silverstone, but it'd be nice to...
No, he has a long lap. He's not going
anywhere. He does, doesn't he?
He's going to struggle to clear off when Maverick's going to do it anyway, so...
Yeah, Maverick. Yeah, remember Silverstone 2016?
Remember Alicia last year on our Aprilia?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but it'll be a clear off. It won't be a scrap. It'll be a...
Yeah, Maverick's just going to be like, all right, leaders. Even if Fabio didn't have a long lap, I don't see Fabio sticking with Vinales at Silverstone.
Fabio will do the long lap and carry on pushing. I think
he'll be
he's
in
got
the top
6 laps
5,
to do it.
I think.
Oh,
I'd like to hope top 5. He'll qualify well, and
it's one of the nicer long laps as well.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So
I don't know. I just can't see. I can just see Fabio. He's got 5 laps to take it. He'll absolutely send it out. He'll get pole, send it out T1, just disappear, put 3 seconds in by lap 4, and then
I
long
can't see
lap,
him getting pole
fine.
at Silverstone. See,
I can't.
It
Not with
wouldn't surprise me, to be
Ducati and
honest.
Aprilia there, and Pecco's the pole hound. It's going to be Pecco.
And it is a long lap, I guess, but
Yeah, I can't see him going. This is the one place where I would genuinely doubt the Yamaha's ability to put him on bill. Of all
But then
the tracks.
Fabio has proved us wrong in times before,
yeah.
where he somehow manages to pull out this insane lap to get pole. Like, I never put my money on Fabio on pole, but somehow
Pecco is going to be pretty much unbeatable. And he has been in poles. Like, Pecco in qualifying. If the championship was qualifying, Pecco would be long gone.
he's a lot to think about in this race, though, with everything that's happened in the last few weeks. He's a big thinker.
I can't see anything other than a Pecco pole, but not a Pecco win.
Oh, maybe Jorge Martin on pole?
Yeah.
yeah, of
He's-
course.
He has a good
That's
pole
more likely than
record.
Fabio.
Yeah.
I say Zarco when we get a backflip and then everyone's happy.
Yes. Please,
But you say that,
please.
Lord, you're saying that at every podcast, like, oh yeah, next race will be Zarco.
It's happening.
I
It's
want
not
to
going to
see a
happen. It's never
backflip.
going to happen.
No, I've been dreaming about it ever since he's moved up from Moto 2. I used to love
Same.
watching Moto 2 races, to watch him do a backflip afterwards.
Like, he's going to do a backflip now.
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, he did it right in
Literally.
front of me at Silvo in
And when-
2015.
When he won the title in 2016, and him and the guy did both the backflips next to each other in his suit.
Yeah, but sadly, never going to see it.
No, I still have hope. I still have hope.
I like your hope, but yeah, nah. Because the thing is,
It's
even if
happening.
it's going to be a race where he needs to capitalise on a mistake, but then he himself will make a mistake and be 13th. That's his issue.
But he's third in the championship.
Yeah, he's consistent when there's nothing on. As soon as there's any sniff of a good result, he's useless.
I think Germany had a good chance this year, and he just kind of was like,
13th.
no, Germany got second.
What's the race?
Fabio
What
cleared
was the
off.
race where he was 13th recently?
Aston.
Yeah, and that should have been a Zarco win, or at least a Zarco pole. Because Pecco proved the GP22 was quick there.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But where was Zarco? Oh yeah, down with Darren Binder and that.
No, I always
Zarco,
thought Aston was going to be Pecco, Fabio, and Elise, because it had been sort of boiling up to that point, and then obviously Fabio making the mistake. But that was the race for those three to finally sort of come together. I wasn't expecting Zarco.
But if you want
To
to
be
win,
in
you've got to
that
be
battle.
there. That's the thing. If he's not, is he? That was a golden chance with two of them going out, and instead he was nowhere himself. Yeah, I can't see it, sadly. Poor Zarco.
it'll happen. It'll happen one day.
Buying little super bikes in 2024.
I don't care where it happens. I just want to see it back. It can be on whatever.
Like
Like, it can be on a
Superbikes
scooter
2027.
race. Honestly, I don't care what race it is, but I just want to see a backflip from him. It's just so iconic.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Right, I think everything.
Mid-season review complete.
Unless there's anything else you can think of after 3 hours of
My brain is mush.
Be hard to think of something else after we've chatted this much about all three classes. I have to say.
This might be our longest pod ever.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I am knackered, but yeah, it's been really nice to have you two on though. It's been good fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
You're very welcome. If you do want to listen to more of their podcasts and what they talk about and all that malarkey, you got a team of like 7. You haven't 7 of you, isn't that right?
Yeah, 7 of us in total. Yep.
Flipping
Oh,
heck,
that's why you
mental.
love Podger. Got it.
Oh, he's
Oh,
so
yeah,
good.
okay.
That's terrible, Jacob. Fucking hell. But yeah, so there's like a team of 7 of them, so you often get different hosts on podcasts, which is quite interesting instead of us boring 2 and Cameron. So So, go and check them out there. The Sighting Lap on Twitter and Instagram, and do you have Facebook as well?
Yeah,
or-
Facebook,
we do.
Just look us
Okay.
up. You'll find us anywhere, to be honest.
Yeah, the Sighting Lap.
I
and
guess you could
obviously-
link them on the YouTube.
I'll put the link in the description on YouTube. Obviously they've got a podcast coming out on Tuesday, the 2nd of August.
Yeah.
With me on it. So if you want to listen to me again, I don't know why you'd want to listen to me again, but if you want to listen to that, then go over to the Sighting Lab and listen to our controversial opinions.
Yeah,
Isn't
that
it?
was a good one though, because there was some spicy ones in there for sure.
Yeah. Well, I went straight in with a 2015 opinion.
Yeah, when you said what you were going to say, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I knew someone was going to
hardcore.
bring it up. Someone had to bring it up.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
the
I
manner
just-
in which he said to me he's going to say it, and I was just like, oh, God.
You're like, bruh. Yeah, I put some absolute spice in there. So, if you want to listen to that, go and check out the Sighting Lap. And yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully with a Cameron, who will be in his new home. And I've got to edit this podcast now. It's going to be fucking horrendous. So, sorry about that. Yeah, Cameron, we miss you. But yeah, we'll be
No,
back
speak
next
for yourself.
time. Yeah, we're back next time after Silverstone for episode 66, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye bye.
This is where Annick and I go,
Bye!
we always cut it out there.
We're always screaming it.